And it doesn't kill you. It doesn't, it doesn't put a real strain on your pocketbook, I guess. For the money, it's everything. It's more than anything I ever could anticipate in a radio. And at first, I was a little, the touch screen and all that, and a little scary at first. But it's such a beautiful thing to me, anyway. I love it, touch screen and all that, and. I guess it's got everything I ever wanted in a transceiver. So, and it's got a good receiver too. It's fairly, I don't have a problem here. I don't have any big signals around me, and I don't get a lot of crossband or anything like that here. It's got a good notch in it, notch filter and all. The preamp, I've never really used it. I've tried it, but it doesn't really. It works. Just brings up the background noise in most cases. And other than that, it's a fine rig for the dough, I guess, N1SCG.
No, it's a great rig, yeah. It's amazing how all the rigs are adding the touch screen. In fact, the laptop that I just attached to my computer is a touchscreen notebook, and I installed the Kenwood software to run the radio, and I installed the USB driver, I installed the software, I turned it on from the program, and it started immediately. It's like, well, that worked out well. Usually you have to fuss with it and change the COM port and this and that, but it actually worked in the very first try, so that was good. So it's a touch screen, but my question relating that is, do you ever use a small touch screen pen instead of using your finger? Go ahead.
No, because I don't do a whole lot of moving around on this. Like I said, I run 3 bands, and they all tune up pretty good. And the only thing I ever vary is the exciter power. That's about all I ever worry about here. Over.
Okay. The only reason I ask is that I use a pen with my notebook only because it doesn't make the screen all fingerprints. So I try to use a touchscreen pen, which most of the pens you get now usually have a touchscreen thing on the end of it. But anyways, it makes it kind of nice, doesn't smudge it all up. But yeah, it gets to the point where there's so many features you can't really use them all, and if you're only operating 3 or 4 different bands, it doesn't make sense to unfold the levels of windows and settings that you can make on these radios now. One thing that is nice on the Kenwood with the software is there's an EQ for the receive and an EQ for the transmit. And right now it's some kind of a Furman equalization. It's some kind of a preset for the receive and transmit. And it's like a 12 or 16 band EQ, and then once you're all set, you can blow it up to the radio and then save configurations. Now that's kind of cool with the computer, but I guess now that with the new ones, that's all kind of built into the touchscreen, correct?
Oh, well, I don't know. I don't even have a computer, and if I did, I wouldn't know how to run it, to be honest with you. I'm one of those holdbacks, I guess. But I got my wife's big with a computer, and my son is good with his computer. So when I have a computer question, I generally go and ask the expert. So, yeah, if you like computers and that's the thing. Like, we just picked up another AL82 for a buddy of mine from Devon. Forgot Devon's call, but he has the Anon radio system, and he's got all plugged in and interfaced with his computer. So, if you're a computer buff, these new radios will certainly, be a lot of fun, I think, N1SCG.
Yeah, it's amazing. My computer has a USB port. You just plug it into the USB port of your notebook or computer. Download the software.
Radio.
And it has
radio.
Your laptop pretty much, which is kind of cool. But anyways, I'm going to take a short break. I'm just going to listen in for a short while also. Try and work on this feedback problem. I think it's more of a speaker problem, but unfortunately my external speaker for my radio is a very, very nice one. It's a Red Cat by Lightspeed, and it's used for classroom audio. That's the business I'm in. I work for a technology company. But anyway, it's a flat speaker, and I think causing interference now because it's driving me crazy. Go ahead.
Okay, Roger, Steve. All right. Well, we'll stand by. Hear another station in there. The other station, go ahead. N1SAG with WJ1W. Over.
Hey, Dave. W2MUR. What's going on? I haven't been on in a while, but I thought I'd give you a shout. I don't hear the other QSO. Barely hear him. He's way under the noise, so I can't really hear anything that's going on the. I knew that somebody was in there. That's about it. Hope everything's well, and I haven't talked to you in a while. Gorgeous day here in Holland Patton, New York. 60 beautiful degrees. Back to you, Dave. N1SAG W2MUR.
Roger, Bad Mike, W2MUR and 1SAG. Yeah, no, we had a lousy day. It was raining on and off all day here. The sun would come out and then it would pour rain, and the sun would come out, then it would sprinkle. It was like that all day long, and I think it's still raining out there. So, well, I'm glad somebody had a good day up there, W2MUR and 1SAG. Back to you, Bad Mike.
Yeah, well, it was a busy day. I just took my dad out to breakfast in the morning, and then I've been just working all day and just kind of wrapping things up. Made my own sushi. It's my second attempt at making sushi, and it was a lot easier doing it the second time, I'll tell you that. But other than that, everything's running well. I mean, you were sounding good. Still good, very good signal for being so early in the evening. I'll give you a check, a report next go around. So I missed you guys last night. I was with the family, and when I got home, I ended up falling asleep, and so I got Randy gave me a text, and I missed it altogether. So I don't know if Randy's been on tonight, but if not, I'm gonna probably do a couple things and then try to circle back maybe a little later, but I just wanted to give you a shout. N1SAG W2MUR.
Okay, we'll give a little break in between, but yeah, I didn't even get on last night. We were with the family yesterday. We went out to a restaurant in Middletown, Connecticut, and very nice Italian restaurant. I had lasagna. Everybody had a little different something or other, but very good. And yeah, I got home. I was tired. I sat down with the wife, watched some TV, and I fell asleep. She fell asleep. I got up and went to bed. I said, I can't. I might as well. No sense sitting here, and But yeah, I didn't even get on the radio. So very good. Well, yeah, it's holidays, and I hope you had a nice Easter. We did. Everything went great. Great meal. Highway. The traffic wasn't bad. It's not a very long trip anyway. It's about 45 minute to an hour, depending on how fast you drive from here to there. But it's nice to get out, and we got all dressed up and all. So it was a great Easter day. Back to you, Mike.
Yeah, so you got your Easter bow tie on and all that. That's good. My son and his daughter, my son, my granddaughter, and his wife are worship leaders at a church. Not my daughter, my granddaughter rather is only one. So, but I got a chance to see her, and I do a little work with the kids. And I was pretty exhausted when I left because it was a big day. And I came right home and crashed for about an hour, which I don't normally do. And then I got something quick to eat and went over and spent the rest of the day with the family. And it was great. It was a good day. Yeah, you're about 20. You're pushing 20 over, which is pretty amazing at this time of the evening here. I am running about almost 1,000 watts, about 950 watts right now, peak, and everything seems to be working well. My 7300, I got to figure out what I'm going to do with this, because it's just looking at me. I should put like a sad face on the screen or something, and I gotta try to put that thing to better use. So that's the situation here, and I'm going to turn it back to whoever else is in there, and to your buddy. Now, where's the other gentleman located? Go ahead.
Well, Steve is up there, and I think it was Raynham, Mass. I'm not 100% sure on that. It sounded like Raynham, but I could have gotten that wrong. But WJ1W, I believe it is WJ1W. Steve, I don't know if you're still in there. N1SAG here with W2MUR. Over.
Yeah, Roger, Dave. Yeah, you got it right. I'm in Raynham, Mass. That's Taunton. And W2MUR is coming in quite nice, but he probably can't hear me very well, which I'm working on getting the amplifier turned on. But anyways, nice to talk to you there. I'm just going to sign off, though, and I was just listening in WJ1W. Back to you, Dave.
Okay, Mike, you copy? Over.
Barely. I'm hearing. I heard my call and a couple little things in between there. But my noise is about test 9, and that's where he is right now. But, Steve, hello out there in Raynham, Massachusetts. And I'm assuming you're running barefoot tonight, but I did hear a little bit of what you were saying there, but not much. I'm sure things will pick up and get a little stronger as the night goes on. Go ahead.
Yeah, Roger on that. I got the Ameritron AL811H. I'm just hooking it up, so once I get it hooked up, I'll come back on. We're going to say 7-3s, guys. WJ1W clear.
Okay, I heard AL80, right? Was it AL80?
AL811H, but it's not turned on at the moment, so that's what I was working on. Put the antenna up yesterday, get the amplifier working this week, then it'll be much better. Go ahead.
Okay. I don't, Dave, you have to relay that to AL, what was that? AL what, Dave?
I don't know. It's an AL11H but whatever. Steve is trying to plug things in and get things working. He's just setting up that station. He's got an antenna that he's just tuned up and working on, trying to get everything figured out there in the shack. So we'll give him some time. He'll get it sorted out and powered up, and I'm sure we'll all hear him just fine. But yeah, it's what's that again, Steve? Before you sign, the amplifier was an AL, and give me the rest of it.
I think it's an 811.
Yeah, 811H. Yeah, the 600-watt version works quite well. The 4-tune, I like it. It's easy to tune, but it's just not hooked up at the moment because it's a new station. But anyways. 7-3 guys, we'll check in a little bit. WJ1W on the side.
Roger. Yeah, it's an A11H, Mike. Yeah, he's trying to hook up, so we'll let him be for now. But anyway, back to you, Bad Mike. Over.
Okay, very good, Steve. 73s, we'll talk soon, and good luck getting everything together. Yep, so, well, nice. Sounds like you had a wonderful day yesterday. Did everybody, now is today everybody's day corporately off? Is Monday the Easter holiday if you're working for a company?
Well, I don't know. When I was working with the union, if the holiday, if it was on a Sunday, we used to get Monday off. Now, I don't know if that's still how they work it. I almost called my buddy. He's back on the big job now, and I was wondering if he had today off or not. But yeah, if it was, in other words, if the holiday came on a Saturday, we'd have Friday off, and if it came on a Sunday, I think we had Monday off. I may have gotten all that confused. It's been so long since I've been doing all that and paying attention. Now I'm so poor I can't afford to pay attention. And when I say G.
Hey, it's Earth Day, Mike.
WG2E.
My good friend has a construction company, and I know his son is working, so I'm assuming my son is working as well, which I'm pretty sure now that you're saying that, yeah, today is supposed to be Easter off. So I'm surprised that my buddy and his son and then my son are working on Easter. I would have thought maybe they got this day off, but it doesn't work like that in the construction world. It doesn't work like that. Maybe they got Friday off for all I know, but I dressed up as, as Randy was probably telling you, I had to dress up as an Easter bunny on Saturday, so that was kind of humiliating. That suit, it was too tight on me. and there wasn't a head that goes over my head. It was like one of these like little hat pullover things. So you could kind of see the bottom part of my face, and I was pretty much blind. I couldn't really see where I was going, so I looked like a geriatric bunny moving really slow because I don't want to like run over anybody. And I know if I come blasting in, I probably would have tripped over a car. I probably would have taken a couple kids out.
Oh, I would have liked to seen some video of that, and I'm sure Carl would have two Carls in here, Mike. Go ahead, Carl.
Hey, Mike, Dave. Hey, yeah, it's Earth Day. That's why everybody's off. They're picking up trash.
Wow, Earth Day. I should have been marching today. I should have been marching on Earth Day, been at the big parades.
Yeah, I know. You're probably the radical activist type, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm that tree hugger, Obama lover.
Oh, I got nothing against trees. I was out yesterday inspecting my forest.
That's right. The only good tree is a tree that's connected up to my antenna.
Yeah, I talked to all the little ones. I said, hurry up, grow fast. I might need you for an antenna someday.
That's right. Grow fast, grow tall, and we could have a serious double loop or something. I keep looking at my property, and I know I have a solution for a full loop. But my dipole seems to work so well that I really don't want to do it. I think my next step is I've been so busy now, but I want to get my bog up. I bought it. It's been sitting there looking at me, and I haven't had 2 seconds to do it.
Oh, yeah, well, I use mine all the time. I just use it for my receive antenna. And then a couple of days ago, I put a ground rod in and terminated at the end. And I think it might be a little bit better in that direction, but it's it's hard to do an A-B when you can't quickly disconnect the ground,
Yeah, what you ought to do is you ought to just put a little simple switch, like a waterproof switch on the end of it, so that when you want to go down there and just disconnect it, you just flick the switch. You don't have to do anything, just flick a switch.
Yeah, well, I'd have to unscrew the screw there and the clamp on the ground rod, but I'm trying it out and see how it does here for now.
Yeah, of course, it would really be cool if you get a little take a little sprinkler control line, that little stuff there, and you just run a little solenoid out there and control it with the solenoid. Take some shielded wire, a Cat 6 wire, the Cat 7 is shielded, and you can run that. Some of that stuff is double shielded, and that would switch a solenoid on and off, and you could just do it in the comfort of your ham shack.
Yeah, I could run an air hose out there.
Exactly, unless that air hose, I can't imagine it would do. But, is there any possibility? Okay, so you're running an air hose, and to run that air hose, you have to have a compressor, and then you have an air solenoid. So how far? Then you got to worry about the air drop. I guess it wouldn't be that big of a deal. You're only running that one solenoid.
Yeah, you could have a spring-loaded piston. And when the air pressure is on it, it makes the connection. And then when you turn the air off, it bleeds out and breaks the connection.
Yeah, the only thing you got to worry about is all that moisture that accumulates in that air over time.
I know. I just popped in my head. I mean, talk about a difficult way of doing things. But when I worked in the plastics plant, we had a whole lot of stuff that worked by air rather than electric.
Well, I'll tell you, a very simple way to do this, believe it or not. They make these laser switches, if you can believe it. And you actually get powered by the laser. So I was reading up on this. They're standalone switches that you point a laser beam at them, and it takes the light and it actually switches the switch. And obviously the switch is only good for low current, but you got to have a line of sight. You got to be able to see everything line of sight.
Yeah, and I'd have to aim it at 200 and some feet.
Not a problem for a laser.
Yeah, I guess I could use my binoculars too. WG2E.
And W2MUR. Well, they got these lasers now on Facebook that you can literally buy, and they start things on fire. You can start matches, you can light matches with them, you can start wood on fire with them. And these things are dangerous. They sell them right on Facebook.
Wow, maybe I could make a death ray beam.
Yeah, you figure if they can make those little battery-powered things you can buy on Facebook that light up matches in seconds and burn things, can you imagine what the federal government's doing on the massive scale that they're flying around with these lasers, and they probably got them from satellites, and they got them from ships, and they got them from tanks, and yeah, I'm sure, next thing you know, we're going to be, it's going to be a little Star Trek activity. We're going to have a laser gun.
Yeah, you'll never know what hit you.
Phasers. All right, Dave, you still in there?
Yeah, that's got to be every pilot's nightmare, a laser beam that'll catch a match on fire. N1SAG.
And 3 hormone.
Hey, Marcus Caparatius.
Good evening, all my fellow radio constituents.
Hiya, Mark.
What's going on, Mark?
What a day today. Oh, my God, I spent a ton of money, and I'm not done spending it yet.
Well, if I had your money, I'd burn mine.
Well, that must have hurt.
I got a truckload of mushroom soil for the garden delivered today. I got a new weed whacker. I got to go get some groceries here in another 20 minutes, and mowed the lawn, weed whacked the whole lower 40 and upper 40, and oh, my, it was a busy day.
I got a new windshield in my car.
Oh, I can clearly see that you spent some money on that.
Well, the insurance took care of it.
Oh, isn't that nice?
The only thing nice about those insurance policies that, zero deductible on glass. What happened? Would you get hit by a stone?
Yeah, on the Interstate 77 down in North Carolina when I was going down to see my mom.
Hey, I came inches from hitting a turkey. A turkey was on the side of the road. It started flying right in front of my car, and its claws literally touched my windshield. I'm going about 70 miles an hour, by the way.
Oh, yeah, geez, I was going on the thruway, and I was probably right out by Utica, and a turkey flew across, and it went right into the windshield of a small car, and it was a couple cars in front of me, and the two of us behind pulled over to see if we could help, and that turkey actually knocked the windshield into the car and up against the steering wheel.
Wow, that's almost, kind of where I was. I mean, I was actually between Utica and Herkimer, and I saw it. And, it was in the morning, and the thing was just on the side of the road, and it was, timed perfectly, and there was not one thing I could do about it. I could see the bottom of its feathers. I could see its claws literally touching my window. That's how close I came.
I wonder if its little turkey life flashed in front of its eyes.
I don't know, man, but I wasn't thinking about Thanksgiving, that's for sure, man. I just was thinking, man, this is probably about a 10-pound turkey that's going to go right through my windshield, and they're going to be flapping around in my front seat here.
Yeah, be careful.
That's a first for me.
I almost hit him on my motorcycle once. 3 of them flew. I had to duck underneath the handlebars. I was so scared. And this is doing about, I had to be doing 60, 55 anyway. And 3 of them come up, flew across the road, right at eye level. And I ducked just in time, and I could honestly feel the wind from their wings flapping when they tried to clear my head,
Yeah, well, they're not too fast. I mean, it's in fact, there's lots of people that don't even realize that turkeys can fly. I mean, I was looking behind my dad's house. He's backed up against the Oriskany Creek, which it was beautiful. He's got a beautiful home there, right there, and a beautiful property, and then it's like a national preserve right down there, And I'm looking up out of his deck, and I look up in the trees, and I counted about maybe at least a dozen to 20 turkey up about 150 feet in the air, just perching in the tree.
Yeah, they're probably some predators around if they're up in the tree. Usually they're on the ground looking for bugs and things to eat. But we get them here all the time. Not so much lately because pretty much breeding season. But we had the toms out there all flashing their feathers around and with like 3 or 4 hens. And we even had hens with like the yearlings they had from last year, and they were you could tell they're a little smaller than the mother hens. But we got fox, we got turkeys, deer. We had deer finally came back. We had a couple deer here, 3 or 4 in the backyard. I swear I saw an eagle the other day only because I had a white head and we have hawks, but this seemed to glide forever and had a huge wingspan, so maybe it was an eagle that lost his way and was just reorientated and trying to get out of town. But we get all kinds of weird game around here too. My wife had just up the street, about a half, not even a quarter mile, half mile away, they had a mountain lion sighting, so positive sighting. And we've had mountain lions around here. Of course, the Connecticut, the state DEP here in Connecticut says we don't have mountain lions in Connecticut, but what the hell do they know anyway? N1SAG.
I had the weirdest thing happen to me. It was about a month ago. Okay, so I'm driving down this back road. I'm going maybe about 50, 55 miles an hour. And on the corner of my eye, I see this deer, and I'm not kidding you. The deer was literally racing me. It was keeping up, almost keeping up with me, racing my car. And I don't think it was doing it purposely. I think it must have been trying to go across the street when I kind of cut it off, and it turned on a dime, and there was no place for it to go. It couldn't go to the right, and it couldn't go to the left, so it was running on the shoulder of the road, racing my car. It was the most unbelievable thing. I wish if I could have filmed that would have been the most funniest thing that I could have ever posted. I'm racing this deer down this back road. It was crazy.
Did it beat the Prius?
It didn't beat the Prius. It should have. No, I was in my truck, man. I would have taken that thing out. I slowed down once I saw it just to see how long this thing would go, and it just kept going and going. I mean, this thing was had some energy, man.
My buddy put 3 front ends on his Chevy diesel, all them aluminum radiators and coolers and everything. We had loads of scrap Chevy aluminum radiator parts and cooling parts, bumpers, you name it. Hit 3 times. He's hit 3 of them up in the northwest corner here, and so you can imagine he's lost his love for wildlife. But and my wife claims 3. My wife's had 3 connections with deer. Me, I've been lucky. I've had some close calls, but I got to say I've been so far, knock on wood. Let's see. Yeah, we got some wood in this desk, that's for sure. N1SAG.
Yeah, the weirdest thing I think, other than what that story I just told you that happened to me, was I'm coming down from my brother-in-law's here in Holland Patton, and it's in the evening. I'm coming down the hill. It's a big hill, and I'm doing maybe 60. And all of a sudden, I see this deer literally lifted up in the air with its legs tucked in, like a reindeer tucked in, gliding over the roof of my car. And I'm seeing this in slow motion. And there was absolutely, nothing. I couldn't even blink my eyes. I was just in shock to see this thing glide over my roof, the hood of my car, and clear not only it looked, I couldn't tell, I'm assuming it cleared the whole road. I had never seen anything like it, and how close I could have came to disaster in that moment.
Oh yeah, years ago I had a job up in Connecticut, and it was in the winter time of the year, or fall anyway, and I was driving in dark and with the headlights on, first thing in the morning, And the biggest buck I ever saw, it was, like you said, it was like in slow motion. And it was, I don't know, good. He was probably 100 feet in front of me, and he jumped and cleared that whole road in one bound. And, even though it was quite a ways in front of me, your instinct is to get your foot throttle pedal and hit the brake. Well, it was like I was a cripple. I couldn't get my foot off of that throttle pedal. By the time I thought actually got the thing to look for the brake pedal, he was gone. It was that fast. And it's like you say, it's in slow motion.
I mean, those are an amazing animal. They really are an amazing animal. What they can do, it makes you wonder how anything can even catch them. I mean, really, their only predator around here would be either a bear. There's very little bear around here, but coy dogs. I just don't understand how even a coy dog could even come close to catching these things.
Well, they work in packs.
Yeah,
in the snow too.
Unbelievable. I mean, maybe the only thing they could get caught would maybe be the younger deer, but full-grown doe or buck and everything would be. That's how these things get to be so big and old, because nothing can really catch them.
When my mother sold her house, we had to do some engineering and put in a septic system, and we were up on the property doing the survey to engineer the system, and there was some tall grass, and we're setting up the instruments and everything, and there's a little tiny spotted fawn in the tall grass just laying there, and that's where the mothers, the does, will leave them there. They're newborn, and they'll just go out, and because they I don't know, that's the way nature works. But it was lunchtime, so we left. We didn't bother with the thing, it's natural, it's there, and we left it alone, and we went for lunch, and we came back from lunch, and the only thing left was the hooves and some fur, part of the hide, not much, but mostly just hooves, and the rest of it the coyotes got and took with them. So unbelievable how quick that happened. Over.
Wow, that's unbelievable. I mean, you just missed watching that. You could literally watch that whole thing unfold, man. That would have been, gruesome, but yet amazing. Man, that's crazy. Yeah, you kind of wonder, I'm not really, there's tons of coy dogs. In fact, they're overrun where I am. I mean, when the fire whistle goes off, you could actually, if you were out in the field, you could probably pinpoint where all these, dens are, or wherever they are, these packs. And I'll take my pistol out with me when I take the garbage out at night on Fridays. I'm thinking, man, if I ever just sat there at night, I would be shocked if a coy dog wouldn't try to come up to me to see what I was. That's how proliferated they are, man. They're everywhere.
Yeah, you gotta be. My wife has a permit to carry, and she has a nice little gun, but I guess she doesn't like to carry the gun around, so I got her a little thing of mace, this pepper spray. And when I go for a walk with her, I take my .45. If I got a situation where I got to use that, it would be the last resort, I'm sure. But the pepper spray would be the first try. Maybe if that didn't work, it'd be too late though. But Carl, go ahead. N1SAG.
Yeah, don't spray that into the wind.
N1 DVL.
There's Ray. Go ahead, Ray.
I'm just turning on. I'll be warming up here.
Yeah, get warm.
You're getting cold. No, warmer, cold, warm.
Now I gotta wait 3 minutes with that amp. This one you turn it on and works pretty good. Half a minute, whatever. Warms up nice. I like it.
My AL 572 is grid driven, so that goes on immediately.
Hey, it looks like you guys got some pretty good rain or storms or something today.
Wait a minute, that was a double. Who got those storms?
A little while ago there, it looked like there was a big red spot right over top of Springfield.
They call it Sprinklesfield. It rained there all day, huh, Ray?
Not all day. It was dry here for a while until about maybe 1 or 2 o'clock.
Here it rained on and all day.
What's going on, Big Ray?
Not much.
Are you being a good boy?
Yeah, as good as I can be.
I made sushi tonight.
You're going to have, what do you call it? You're going to get, what do they call that? Your flesh-eating disease.
No, I made my own sushi with the imitation, with the white fish, and then actually the imitation lobster. It's all fish. It's pre-cooked fish, vacuum packed. You would go and get a California roll or something. That would be in there. Nothing elaborate. I just basically chop up some green onions, avocado, some cucumbers. I put the rice in this tube and make like a little valley on each side, load it all up with all the stuff and the fish and the imitation, in this case lobster, and load that all up, and you fold it, and you fold it the two halves together, and you click them, and you push this piston through, and it comes right out the other end.
And it's fake crab meat and lobster?
Well, there's two types of fish that they sell. It's either fake crab meat, which is nothing but white fish, and then the lobster, the fake lobster. I don't know what kind of fish that is, but it's good. It's very, very good, man. I wish I had some sake tonight. I love having sake with sushi.
The wasabi sauce?
That fugu fish.
Wait, yeah, that's all he needs. He'll be laying there kicking the bucket. What? Where do you get fake lobster? I never heard of that.
Yeah, well, if you go to the just go to your grocery store where it's right next to the imitation crab packed. You'll see imitation lobster right next to it.
Okay, I'll have to try it. I got to tune up here. I'll be right back.
Did you put the wasabi sauce in there on it, Mike?
Yeah, can you hear me, Dave?
Yeah, I got you.
I get this powder. My sister-in-law gave me this powder, my former sister-in-law, but she's currently well, you get it. So my ex-wife, I'm very close with my ex-wife's family still. So she gave me some dried, powder, wasabi powder, and what you do is you put 1 teaspoon of wasabi to 1 teaspoon of water, and you mix it up and make a little ball out of it, and then it's delicious, just like if you were, to get carry out.
How does the fake lobster taste?
Does it make your forehead sweat?
Yeah, it's strong, and the fake lobster is not bad. It's sweet. You can tell it's not real lobster, but it's very good.
Okay, very good. Well, I'll have to go try to find some.
If you like, the sushi is a production. Once you get it down, though, the sushi rice obviously is the most important thing. So basically what you got to do is you get the sushi rice at your grocery store. You got to rinse it off until the water's clear, usually about 3 or 4 rinses. And then once that's done, you pour a cup of that in to a medium saucepan, and then you put a cup and a quarter water in that. You put it on, get it to boil, and when it boils, you put a cover over it, turn it to low, and you let it cook for 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, you pull it off the burner, you let it sit for 10 minutes. And then what I do after that, after 10 minutes, you put it in a non-metallic, like a plastic bowl. It can't be metallic. And you put 2 tablespoons of rice vinegar in it. Mix it up real good. You put it in the refrigerator for a little bit, and then you load it up, and you keep your hands wet. You got to keep your knife wet. Everything's got to be wet, or everything sticks. It's like glue, this stuff, And you load this tube up with it, with your hands wet, and then you load up all your goodies into that, and then rinse your hands off, and then when you cut it, you got to have a super sharp knife, and then the knife has got to be wetted down, and you cut it. You can only cut it in one direction. I usually cut it going towards me, from front to back, and then you have to wipe your knife off every couple cuts. Too much work.
I was just going to say the same thing. Sounds like it's easier to go to the sushi bar.
Well, I tell you what, you can save some money, and it's enough to make 2 rolls. So I only had a few dishes, It's not. The whole thing took me maybe a half hour, to do.
Yeah, well, I'm sure after you get the hang of it, it's easy to do. But in the beginning, it sounds like a pain in the you know what.
If it takes longer to make than it does to eat, I'm not going to do it.
I'm sure that's a rule of thumb for a lot of us.
I like that analogy.
That's why these beautiful wives of yours, of Dave, is the one married here in this case. You sit back and they're just doing their magic and calling you when it's ready.
Mostly I do the cooking, Mike.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's like I'll cook. Wednesdays is pasta day, so I make the meatballs, cook the sausage, make the sauce. Salad, garlic rolls, everything. And I'll work on that for, 2 or 3 hours, even sometimes more, depends on the weather, too. I like to cook outside if I can. And then in a half hour, we're all done eating.
Yeah, well, I remember you saying that now that you mention it. Well, you don't have to clean up, do you?
Yeah, I'm the chief cook and bottle washer.
Come on. So that's not... Somebody's got to clean up. That's not... You do all that work, I'm going to have a word with your wife.
Oh, I'm not saying they don't help. No, but I certainly do all the big pots and pans. No, she comes on now. She's a helper, don't get me wrong. Even when the kids are over, usually my youngest son makes it up on Wednesdays, and everybody pitches in, everybody helps.
Oh, that's good. That is the way to do it, man, because I'll tell you what, when I cook, when I do pasta, talk about that's a production. That's way more production than doing the sushi. Man, I got some pots and pans, and my daughter will clean up, and I'll make dessert to put the coffee on. It's like a big, joint operation. That's the way to do it. But, she's, you got a good, you're a good boy, man. You're a good boy.
I'm lucky, huh, Ray?
Oh, yeah, you're definitely lucky.
All right, gentlemen, I'm going to get a little coffee on here, and I will be right back. W2MUR.
Is the great Randy in here yet? No, he's late again, huh? How about, let's see, come on, where's all our regular guys here? Where's Bruce? Bruce, say something. Are you out here, Bruce? How about Tom? How about John? How about Paul? Paul, that's after the tax season. Paul, are you in here?
Well, George and Ringo. Marco was here a little bit. And Carl, you still in?
Oh, I'm here.
Anybody else?
Nah, somebody text Randy and tell him to get on. I'm sick of calling him. Just text him and tell him to get on the radio. I want him to text all the old timers that haven't been in here in a while.
I'm sure he'll get on. Isn't that the first thing he does when he gets home is turn all the switches on?
Well, then why isn't he here?
Maybe he's doing that new serpentine block or something going on overtime, whatever at work.
Maybe he's taking a shower, getting ready. He'll be here in a minute. He had a big day. He had some big thing going on with a new block product or something. New cinder block.
Yeah, the serpentine block.
Yeah, they're all cinder blocks to me, right, Ray?
And yeah, they're all cinder blocks, exactly. Anyway, the strike is over. It's Stop and Shop.
Yeah, I've been seeing that. I'm glad that, at least they got all back to work, and everybody, we go shopping at Big Y the last couple of weekends. The place has been mobbed because all the Stop and Shops, and there's two in town, and they're, of course, and they're both spread out, so all the people that were, going into those two Stop and Shops are coming to the Big Y, and that place was crowded. The Price Choppers up on the street, that parking lot was full. So hopefully everything will get back to normal. But yeah, good they got back to work.
Yeah, they said they got what they wanted, so I'm kind of surprised. I figure if it went as long as it did, they were going to get rid of them.
Well, as a Big Y, one of the managers was talking to a customer, and he was saying they've always had some kind of, anti-union sentiments there with the owners of Stop and Shop. So he didn't know if they were trying to, bust the unions and, go non-union or whatever. But, as long as everybody's happy and they're all able to buy groceries again, and the workers take home a paycheck, support their families, live their lives. I mean, in this economy, everybody, and it's a win-win situation, a grocery store, big chains like that. I mean, everybody has to eat, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't care what store it is. I just go to the one that's closest to me.
Right, yeah. Well, that's what happened there. There were two Stop and Shops, strategically spread apart in town. So one end of the town and the other end of the town, and everything was, had a really, nice thing, very comfortable situation, like you say, closest one to you. Over.
Yeah, it's like gas stations. I don't usually shop by gas price. I go to the stations I like to go in, the ones that they're clean and the pumps work and all that.
That and the line, we go. My wife likes to go to the ones that are crowded all the time. Yeah, I got a station I go to. It's in the back road. It's there's never a line there. Very rarely, anyway. You pull up gas up, you're the only one there. But yeah, I agree with you there, Carl.
Yeah, and then sometimes you go there, and some of the ones there that they don't really take care of their stuff, their filters are all plugged up. It takes you half an hour to put 10 gallons in the car.
Roger, yeah, we've had that happen. I especially with diesel, which we run heavy equipment, so we have to transport the fuel to the job, so we're filling up the barrels, to get to the job. And if you get like you say, a clogged filter, you spend an hour getting 100 gallons of diesel oil. But we got this one station we go to now. They have the big nozzle for the big trucks, and we go there. That they take good care of it. The thing pumps fast, and we're in and out of there in good time. So. But yeah, I know. I know what you're saying there, because even gas stations, like you say, I've been to a few where they don't change the line filters, and you're sitting there, and you can, I mean, it's just wasted time, and it just works on your nerves. But it's getting better around here. Most all the stations now around here, they're pretty good maintenance, I guess, and I haven't had any problems, but there's always a difference in price, sometimes up to a dime a gallon, so that's huge. But anyway, N1SAG.
Yeah, and then you get the guys that spill all over the ground, and you have to stand in it, and then you attract diesel smell into your car. I really hate that.
Yeah, no, I agree there. Yeah, you got to, there's a certain amount of, what's the word, texturity? Is that the right word? You have to use when you're fueling up. No question about that.
Yeah, I saw one guy was fueling up, and it splashed back, and I mean, it just soaked him from like the middle of his chest all the way down to his knees. He was covered.
Oh, yeah. No, I stand back, but I always am careful. I listen, and I'm careful, and the automatic shutoff's always. I haven't had an automatic shutoff fail in a long time now. Oh Christ, I don't know how it's been 10, 20 years,
Yeah, they do now and then.
Yeah, I've been lucky though. No, but I've had that happen even with gas filling up my car, where the thing would get filled up and burp back at you, and you get gas all over your pants or something on your feet. But now I stand away anyway. Once bitten, twice shy, so I stand to the side and try to be careful. But and I watch the gallons. I know about where I'm going, and I'll slow the thing down. When it gets near the top of the tank. And I don't try to double. I squeeze that handle again. Everyone wants to get that last drop in, and that's where you usually get in trouble. Over.
Yeah, I just go to the next even dollar.
Yeah, and I just fill it up when it stops. I drip the thing a little bit, because I used to work in a gas station, and the owner used to say, make sure when you pull the thing out, you let the last couple drops fall in the customer's tank. Don't let it go on the ground, because certain customers will complain that you're wasting fuel. So, and if you add it all up, every drop that hits the ground every day, you probably got a couple 100 gallons across the world, that hit the ground. But anyway, when you stop and think about it, over.
All right, we're back.
Marcus Caparadius.
I went to the store, I survived the trip, and I'm back.
They didn't hurt you?
No, I had to get there before 8 o'clock. That's when they closed.
Oh, all right. How's the weather down there?
Dude, if it gets, it couldn't be nicer. If it stayed like this every day of the year, it'd be it'd be paradise.
How come you guys are getting, and Carl, didn't you say you had good weather? We had lousy weather here today.
It wasn't cold, but it wasn't real sunny. It was all pretty cloudy.
Mowed the grass and weed whacked, and the bees were out buzzing, and I was with shorts and a T-shirt. It was just gorgeous.
Oh, that was that big white light I saw from the southwest then.
Yes, it was a big white light. It was in the sky. It kept traveling west.
No, I think it was the reflection off your shiny legs.
Well, I sure hope that's not on Google Earth.
Blind the camera.
You guys have no idea how right you really are.
Let's get off of that. Ray, where'd you go? Are you on the phone with Randy?
No, I'm just sitting here listening.
You're not going to call him then, huh?
No, because if I call him, he'll never answer anyway.
No. He had that block thing going, so he's probably, late, whatever,
Okay, I'll be back in a minute. He just reminded me of something. They put these 2 pieces of tape on the top of my windshield onto my roof, and they said I was supposed to take it off in a couple hours. I got to go do that right now. I'll be back. WG2E.
Okay, Carl.
So the sealant can cure, right?
What do you have, a new windshield put in?
That's what he said.
Oh, that's right, yeah. I remember he got a cracked windshield.
Oh my God, does the lawns look so much better. That was atrocious. It was getting deep out there.
Yeah, I won't be mowing my lawn until probably first mowing. I figure first cutting will be the end of June.
Do you still have the Michigan out at your place, or the Volvo?
Yeah, it was Volvo bought out Michigan. You're absolutely right. Yeah, no, it's still here, but I'm not going to go mowing the lawn with that.
Did you use it at all this winter to plow snow?
Yeah, we had enough snow. The snowfalls here, we never got much more than a foot, with one storm, but I used that. I got a big enough driveway. I'm not going to do the whole thing with a snowblower unless I've done it with the snowblower, but it takes a couple hours, but no, with that thing there, I just go out, and the only thing I got to do with the blower is the sidewalk, so it really, and in front of the garage,
Isn't that a little large to be pushing 1 foot of snow?
Oh, well, not for me. For me, it's nice. I get in it. It's got a heater. I warm it up nice. We put new batteries in it, and it's and I got to run it. It's not. That's why it's here. So because we haven't been. We don't have any jobs for it, so they don't want to let it sit around, and we run it. And no, it's not. Snow. We get that wet, heavy snow. It's nice to have that thing, I'll tell you what. And especially out by the road, Ray. When you get to that point where the plows push it up and, it's that northern exposure, so it's always cold and icy and froze up solid out there,
Yeah, that must be nice when you have a 3-foot wall in front of your driveway.
Yeah, you go out there with that thing, and the plow trucks see you, and they get scared.
That's a great idea. Why don't you chase them down the road?
I know all them guys. No, I don't go out on the road when there's any traffic because the thing. And usually I can do everything from inside the property. I can backblade it in. I like to sneak out and get in front of the mailbox and like that with it. But I try not. It takes up a lot of the road,
Can you run those in 2-wheel, or are they always 4-wheel?
Yeah, no, they're always 4-wheel. They're always 4-wheel. They have, nice differential, so that it's not like positive traction where you get all that jerky and like that when you turn. They're very smooth. The new stuff is even smoother. I mean, this one's pretty old now. I think it's a 2004, somewhere around there. I can't remember exactly how old it is, but the new stuff now they got today is, you can go into the pile of dirt and it fills the bucket automatically. All you just the computer controls everything, and it doesn't spin a wheel. It's unbelievable. But you know me, I'm not a big computer guy. I bypass the computer. I like the seat of the pants feeling. KB2ZVP.
I want you to text Paul and Bruce and John and what's his name? Who's the God? It's been so long I can't even remember the damn guy's name anymore. Let's see. Hang on. I'm looking at my Rich WZ2P.
Why am I going to text anybody?
Tell them all to get on. They haven't been on. Oh, don't forget Kenny. Don't forget Kenny.
You got to get a phone that you can text with. I'll show you how to do it. For a guy that doesn't want a computer, you use one more than anybody I know.
I know, and I don't even have to pay for it. Please, leave me alone. I'm having fun with my trash can. One thing at a time.
So today's Tuesday. No, today's Monday.
Right, I put it out Sunday night. Okay, believe me, the guy comes at 7:03. Both times he picked it up at 7:03.
Yeah, and?
Well, you got to be out there, before 7 o'clock, or you're going to miss it. And I was filled right to the top. So, again, this week I'm going to have to open the garage. I'm going to pull all the cars out of the garage and go through all that junk and start throwing away everything. How far down I want to go.
Get rid of everything. If you haven't touched it in over a year, toss it.
Yeah, well, some stuff's too big to put in there. That's the problem. That's why I was going to get a 4 cubic yard dumpster, but they won't give you a 4 cubic yard. They'll only give you like a 15-yard dumpster. And I said, well, you can't even fit that in my driveway. So they won't give a 4 cubic yard to a house. Only a business. That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
You can get the Bagster.
Yeah, you got to get the Bagster, right.
Right? You've seen those commercials. You got the Bagster. I think you can get them at Lowe's or Home Depot. I don't know. Where do you get them, Randy?
You can get them at Home Depot. And you can call the trash company, and they'll bring those out and pick them up.
Can you put anything you want in them, though?
Yeah, construction debris. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I got one thing I got downstairs is a printer. It's an old printer. I don't know where Mary Ellen got it. But hell, the thing weighs like 30 or 40 pounds. They're not going to want to take that, are they?
They sort, when they get to the site, wherever they bring this stuff, the recycling guys, they sort stuff out.
And all the stuff of any value they keep and they sell it, and they make extra money that way.
WG2E is back.
Hello, Carl.
Hello, Randy. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, nice of you to come in today, Randy.
I know.
I'm just kidding.
How's your serpentine thing doing?
We had an okay run Saturday. I wasn't thrilled with it, but the mold needs to be re-engineered a little bit. Actually, there's a big meeting tomorrow in Chicago, and I've got to send pictures and my ideas to the group, and then they're going to have a meeting at 3 o'clock tomorrow.
Don't let them steal all your ideas.
Well, I'm a part of the group, of the Concrete Products group, so I've got to turn my ideas in, and then they talk about them and decide what they're going to do.
All right, don't let them cheat you out any royalties.
No royalties coming. No, thank you, honey. But my wife just offered me a chocolate chip cookie, by the way.
Oh, I would have took that.
Yeah, we don't turn down chocolate chip cookies either.
Was it nice and warm where if you hold it out, it just slowly hangs down real slow?
Absolutely. Right out of the oven.
I got a biscotti with my tea.
What the hell's that?
Aliens.
Sounded like somebody on the wrong sideband.
Yeah, it did. It sounded like they were on upper sideband, but they were on this frequency.
What's happening in the world of politics? Anything happen over the weekend?
You kidding me? There's all kind. Another Democrat for masses running. They're all running, and what do you call their Pocahontas wants to impeach the president.
Oh yeah, and forgive all the student debt.
Yeah, she's going to fix all that up too.
Well, I want to know who's going to pay for it. And what about the people that paid off their debt? They shouldn't come out of their taxes.
Yeah, well, let's not get into that. I've been trying, I've been watching as little news as I have to, because it's just still all about investigating the president and impeaching the president and how we're going to get rid of this president. And the more they try to get rid of him, they know goddamn well it's going to be another 4 years of he's going to make another term. Everybody knows that, right?
Yeah, let's quit all this stuff and fix the bridges and fix the potholes and build some stuff. That's what we do best.
Yeah, no, it's all about investigate, and Mueller this, and MSNBC cornered Mueller and his wife right when they were getting out of church Easter Sunday. I couldn't believe it. I don't have any love for the guy, but I could never do. Poor guy goes to church on Easter Sunday, and I don't care how bad his report was, which I think it sucked, but you know what I mean. Easter Sunday, him and his wife coming out of church, and the cameras in your face and the microphone. Would you comment on this and blah blah? Why would you do that?
I can still hear that in the background.
Yeah, somebody's messing around. Leave it alone.
I hear nothing.
Even with that new copper antenna.
Even with that new tin-coated copper antenna.
Oh, my God, it's a specialty.
Well, I got 5 cubic yards of mushroom soil delivered today.
What's the mushroom soil?
Mushroom soil is the product that you take cow crap and you let mushrooms grow in it for 1 year, and then you let it decompose naturally, and it turns into soil. And then you take that and mix it in your garden, and you grow vegetables the size of basketball.
I know what Randy, we both know what he's growing there.
No, I'm not growing marijuana. I don't have a license to do that.
No, not psilocybin mushrooms.
No, those are portobello mushrooms that grow in cow crap, Ray.
Yeah, psilocybin mushrooms grow in it too.
Really?
Yep, you can get high. No, we'd never be able to tell, though. Even if you were using the psilocybin mushrooms or drinking the tea, it wouldn't be any different.
Well, I'd probably be a little more creative.
It might ground him a little bit.
And I didn't realize how big 5 cubic yards of mushroom soil was until it got delivered today, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah, 5, that's quite a bit.
But that's all right. We got plenty of uses for it. We'll put it in the garden. We'll put it in the flower garden in my mom and dad's place. I can put some over where the tomato garden was and mix that in the soil. We're only about a week away from doing that, so yeah, we're about right on schedule.
Mark, would they charge you per yard?
It was $40 a yard.
Yeah, well, I guess it's worth it. I mean, that's some pretty rich soil.
Oh yeah, and I haven't really been able to put a whole lot back in the garden for the past 5-6 years. So this will definitely be a much needed infusion of organic material.
And then what do you do? Do you rototill it in, or how do you mix it in?
I rototiller right in.
Yeah, that's the way.
What kind of tiller do you have?
What is that little thing? I bought that last year, brand new, at Lowe's, and boy, is that sucker nice. It does a really nice job. Trying to remember what it is, though. It's not a Toro.
So it's a walk-behind type.
Yeah, it's a walk-behind type. It's red. I know it's red.
Troy-Bilt?
Might be.
My little snowblower's a Troy-Bilt, but it's black.
It's got, I think it's got a 13 horsepower motor on it, and it's got all the power I need. It gets it done.
Yeah, 13 horse will do the garden.
What the hell did that cost you?
I believe that was $378.
Wow, that's cheap for 13 horsepower.
Really? $378 is all?
It's all.
With a 13 horsepower engine.
I believe it is. I could be mistaken. Maybe it's 7. I'd have to go out and... You want me to go out and take a look?
I want to see a picture of it, yes.
Oh, no, well, give me 10, 15 minutes here. I'm in the middle of something else I can't walk away from right now. But I'll go out and I'll take a picture of it, and you can discuss it with Ray and see if Ray gives it approval.
Well, I figured for 13 horse you spent $800 or $900, and I was going to yell at you for not buying a 7300 instead.
Oh, that money hasn't even come yet. I already have that allocated.
Okay, just checking.
Hey, Randy, what's the deal on these lights? Because we're they're not what do you call Ameritron doesn't, it's not a stock item. So where'd you get the lights?
They came from Ameritron. Mark ordered them, and he ordered a couple sets, and he ordered a set for me. He gave me a set. They came from Ameritron, though.
Well, I don't know. Gary's on it. I called him today, and to see, and he talked to Ameritron, and they're not a stock item. That's what I just talked to him quick on the phone, but he'll get them. I sent him a picture of the lights, and I don't think he'll be over until Friday. But anyway, we'll see what he comes up. They sent him the incandescent ones. Of course, it's all over the internet that the incandescent lights don't last, and everybody hates them. So that's what they're converting. But I don't know. What kind of trouble he's having over.
If you go looking very carefully through the right books, or go to an industrial supply house that sells those little light bulbs, they can give you those incandescent light bulbs that are long life ones, and they'll last like 60,000 hours. They're not as bright, but they still last a real long time.
Yeah, I know, but there's only one LED out. The other 3 work, so it's real easy to just replace that one light. I could put the hood back on that thing and slam a signal through it.
Oh, it already has LEDs in it?
Right, yeah, the 4, there's 2 on each meter, and only one was out, so, I'm just trying to fix it and put the hood back on.
Got it, okay.
We got the relay, and that's all we needed was a relay and a light. You got the heavy-duty relay, and it's been working like a champ, and you get the light in, and all the headlights will glow, and the thing will look brand new again.
Got it.
I'm not so sure. I don't have a set of those lights here. Something tells me I may have. Let me go into the magic cabinet. Be right back. KB2ZVP.
All right.
The magic cabinet.
Everything's magic with Randy.
So, Carl, what night do you do 6 meters? That Sunday night?
Yeah, 8 o'clock Sunday, 50.4 a.m. I was talking to Steve, KA2EXP. I guess there was only 3 guys in there last night, Mike, TTV, and somebody else.
I'm here.
Right, well, just keep in mind I want to sell that amp. That amp will work on like 10 and 12 meters. It'll work on 10, 11, and 12 meters. I could make it work on 15. I could make it work on probably any of those bands up, on the high end. But it's either a 6-meter amp or a 10, 11, 12 type amp. So either way, I want to sell it.
Did I hear Steve in there?
Oh,
Yes.
Yep, you sure did. This is Steve in Albany, town of Gilderland, Fox November 32, KA2EXP.
Good evening.
I got a lot of noise here tonight, a lot of static. By the way, I took the tower down, straightened up the beam, fixed the dipole, and I'm back to 99%.
Oh, good. Yeah, it wasn't too bad of a day out.
No, it was perfect. Perfect weather.
I got it. It got the tower extended too. Setting in the winter setting. Now I got the summer setting. It's 10-foot iron.
Randy, who was that guy in here that was in there with that 590 Kenwood that was going to put it on the computer? What was his name? Was it Ken?
There was a Steve that you're talking about, WJ1W. I think he had a 590.
The guy that came in last night, and we've told him he didn't have good audio. He just put up some antenna. He put up the full wave end fed.
Yeah, that was him, I think. The guy, WJ1W. He was in here just before you guys came on the air. I was talking to him.
Okay, is his name Steve?
Roger.
Okay, was it Roger or Steve?
It was Steve.
Roger.
So, Steve, are you in here now?
Well, he said he was going to come back in later, so he will be back, I'm sure. He was working on hooking up his amplifier and getting everything, all the cobwebs and spikes, cleaned up and running right. So he'll be back, he said.
Right. Well, I'm much more interested in hooking up that Kenwood to the computer so that he can tailor the audio, because that gives him that 17-band equalizer like my Kenwood has. And then once it's set right, then you can just put it in the program in the radio, and the radio will keep the program. So, and that's what all the other Kenwood guys have to do. Mark has to do it, and everybody that has one of those has to do it because they all have lousy audio.
Yeah, he expressed an interest in that, tailoring up audio, yeah. Here is WA2E.
Hi, Doc. WG2E.
Evening, guys.
Hello, Doc.
Hiya, Randy.
How you doing, pal?
I'm better than the average bear, boo-boo. How about you?
All good in the Toad Harbor HUD, buddy.
Awesome.
So, Carl, if your display goes bad again and it's out of warranty, will they fix it for free?
Well, nobody said, and I didn't actually ask, but I think they better.
Well, that's the sort of what the word is. They'll fix it.
Yeah, but I don't want to have to pay another $100 there to ship it out there. I think that second time around should be on them.
I think they should just send you the display and put it in yourself.
Yeah, that would be disastrous because they're probably harder to put in than you think.
Well, I don't know. If I could get a service manual, I could probably do it.
I bet you they're not hard at all. I mean, you think about it. They make it so they can just drop that display in there. You pull the front of that radio off, I'll bet you that display changes in a matter of minutes.
Well, that may be true, but the thing is, it may be solder in. That's the problem. If you have to solder it in, then that's probably not a good idea to try it.
Oh, well, yeah, I wouldn't want to do any unsoldering or stuff, but, they built this thing, probably it's on an assembly line, and they want to whip them together as fast as possible, so it's probably all those little tiny Molex plugs and everything.
Exactly. When's the last time you've seen a board that had something soldered to it? They're all plug-in.
Yeah, and a lot of them use that flat ribbon cable that just goes into the plug, and then you push the little lever down, and it contacts all the little wires in the ribbon cable.
I bet you it's a pretty simple thing to change that display. I would have to guess. I mean, it's only a guess. I have no. But you got to think about, they're built, like you said, for mass production, And how many times have you changed displays and things, equipment and like that? And it's always a simple. It's always a very simple thing to do.
Well, I know a guy that had an original ICOM 756, and those had that they were kind of a cruddy looking. They were a gray, pinkish. But anyway, the point is they all went bad, and they were very hard to get to displays because there's so many of them went bad. They just ran out of them. So some guy in Europe was making them, and this guy I know bought one, and he changed it. And this guy here is one of these people who's young and he can do that kind of stuff, and he told me it was just a nightmare. It's like 7 or 8 hours worth of work. You have to take the whole radio apart, and it's quite the job to replace it.
Remember, Quasar works in a drawer?
What was that?
You don't remember Quasar TVs? Remember, they used to advertise it. Quasar works in a drawer.
I don't get what do you mean, works in a drawer? What does that mean?
Quasar TVs were the first printed circuit board modular boards. They showed them. They had them right on TV. They showed how they pulled this drawer out of I guess it was the front or the back of the TV. And I think it was the front. And there was all these circuit boards that they could just, they were just plugged into a big socket somehow in the back, a ribbon socket, and they called it Quasar Works in a Drawer. Remember Quasar TVs?
Well, yeah, I do remember them, Dave, but I have no idea what you're talking about. So, okay, those old TVs used to break so often that they needed to put a zipper on them.
Yeah, well, that was their claim to fame. The zipper was the big printed circuit board modules that you could just pull out, throw them away, send another one in. They called it Works in a Drawer. That was their advertisement.
Oh, yeah. As long as it was unplugged when you changed them, you were fine. But if you forgot to unplug the TV, you tried a new board.
Yeah, well, I never had a Quasar, but I got a kick out of it. I was a young kid when Quasar came out.
Well, most of those early TVs, the problems were always the sweep tubes would go bad because they ran them really hard and they had no fans on them, and the tubes would get hot and go bad.
I remember my dad had given me a bag full of tubes. He says, take your bike up to the drugstore there and run these tubes through the tube tester.
The good old days. And then if you needed a tube, hell, I used to go up there and tube test my tram. Okay, same thing. And if the tube was bad, you just go to the guy, and he'd come over with his key, and he'd open the box there, and he'd hand you a new tube for like $3.
Yeah, all those black and red RCA boxes, all in their little lineup in there.
That was the good old days, man, wasn't it?
Steve, EXP, he's got one of those tube testers, not like that you'd find in a drugstore, but one that you would use, in a shop or something.
Yeah, they're great to have if you have tube radios. I tried it for a while with those old trams, but with that tram, the D201 tram, no matter how many times you fixed it, if you put it on the floor, didn't run it for 3 or 4 months and then brought it back, it was all screwed up again. So I just gave up. The old one, the Titan 2, that was okay. That one worked okay, but that was only 23 channels. That was a problem with that. Those sort of things. They're just so archaic, And they're all 23 channels, too.
But that was the good old days, you said.
Well, yeah, back when there was 23 channels, yeah, I guess. If you could get a 40-channel one of those tram, the Tram Titan 2 or Titan 1 or Tram Titan, and they had 40 channels in them, that would be okay. Jack had one with a VFO in it, and that was really trick,
Yeah,
I never had a tube CB. I had the solid state ones, Royce, 23 channel.
They were terrible. The Tram and the Browning were actually very, very good radios. They were comparable. They were way better than any ham rig at the time because basically they were a copy of a Collins receiver.
Hey, I just wanted to talk to my friends, and we all had our handles, and we'd talk to each other at night while we were cruising around. It was fine. I didn't know any better then.
I had a Johnson Viking.
Johnson Viking was a good radio, too. That was a good radio, but it only was like 5 channels.
Just 6, I think. But, yeah, you're right.
Yes, whoever said it was a Troy built, that is correct.
That was me that said that, and they used to be made in Troy, New York.
So how much horsepower is it?
208 cc's.
Oh, yeah, they don't even give you horsepower anymore, those weirdos.
Yeah, if that was 13 horsepower, it would tear the tines right off the front of that thing.
Yeah, it's probably 7 horsepower.
I'm going to figure it out. 208, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think 208 is equivalent to 7 horsepower if I remember my Harbor Freight changeover.
Well, that's 12.69 cubic inches, so I would have to say it's probably 7 or 8 horsepower.
Yep, it gets it done, though. And I didn't put any of that crappy gas in it either. It's real gas with no ethanol.
Yeah, we'll put Mobil 1 oil in it, and it'll make more power than ever before.
Already done.
And then you're all set.
He turns that ground over like it's cotton candy, man.
Yep.
I had to turn off the amp. Brian said I was tree limbs off the trees.
You were arcing in the trees?
Touching the tree limb, and it was burning it. I didn't want the wire to break, so I'll cut it off or insulate it tomorrow.
Well, if you've got a wire with a case worn off of it, you're better off changing it because it's full of water.
Yep, something like that.
Yeah, use the old one to pull in the new one.
Yeah, it's up back to 100 watts.
Depends on how long it's been like that. You'd be surprised at how many feet of black wire you'll have if you start stripping that back.
Nikola Tesla or something.
Well, I didn't even know it was happening until Brian came in and says, hey, I'm seeing sparks flying off that tree there. What are you doing? I says, I'm running the clipper in now.
Well, at least you're not as bad as the one guy that actually set his tree on fire and they had to call the fire department.
Well, I don't want to kill the tree either.
Let me see if I see any sparks out there on my tree. No, I don't see any sparks out there. Hello, hello.
The story goes, and I'll be very brief with this, but it's a great one. The guy was a big-time AM operator back in the day when they used to just, push the little thing down on the D104 and talk while they were working in the room because they'd take 15-minute transmissions. Well, he was talking and talking, and in the background you hear, while he was making a transmission, in the background you hear these sirens going off, like, D104s are real super sensitive. We could hear it off in the background. It was getting louder and louder and louder, and all of a sudden you hear him say, what the heck is going on? He's looking out his window. He says, oh, my God. I'll be right back. And then all of a sudden the transmission stopped. And then he comes back, and then he proceeds to, later on, he tells the guys that he set his tree on fire, and it was all in flames because of the antenna was arcing in the tree, and the fire department had to put the fire out.
Wow.
So at least you didn't get to that point.
Well, it's raining out here, so it would be hard to set the tree on fire.
Well, if it was arcing in the trees, would that be heard at if I was arcing in my trees right now, would there be something there that you guys could hear and say, hey, you sound funny?
I don't think so.
If a tree was arcing in the woods and no one was there to hear it, does it make a noise?
Well, the old adage. So I was out with my quad one day, and the whole top came off a giant oak tree. And I was about, maybe 200 feet down the hill from it. And the whole top of this tree came off. And I mean, a third of this huge oak tree. And I heard it go crack, crack, and it went over, and it hit the ground, and it must have been old and dead. And when it hit the ground, it just exploded into virtually logs, okay? I mean, the pieces were probably, anywhere between a foot and 2 feet long, and then it just exploded into 1,000 of those, and they came rolling down the hill, and I'm sitting there, and they're all rolling down towards me, and a few of them stopped about maybe 5 or 6 feet from where I was. But I mean, if you had a thing to put them in, you could have just taken them home right there for firewood, and it made a huge noise, by the way.
Probably would have been lousy firewood.
Yeah, it was probably all pithy.
Loaded with bugs, so. Probably.
No, it's because it was up in the air. Don't forget, it dried out up in the air. It was probably pretty good. But then it really shouldn't have broke up like that when it hit the ground.
No.
That's where the bugs are. They get high. We were at Mitch and Amanda's yesterday, and Mitch took down a tree, and the bottom looked fine, but he was getting limbs off the top. He cut the top off, and the whole, 15 feet at the very top of the pine tree was just loaded with zillions of little tiny holes from bugs.
So with an oak tree, there's a specific type of ants that love to tear up on oak.
Yeah, well, there's a tree out here. I think it's an elm, and tons of it fell into my yard. It's still over there. There's about 30 or 40 pieces. Some of them are 8 or 10 feet long. But the yard's so muddy, I can't go over there yet.
Well, I got a Husqvarna weed whacker today.
Is it battery or gas?
Oh, no, I wouldn't buy a battery weed whacker. Are you kidding me? Although they've come quite a far away with the battery technology on them. They're actually better than you think. But no, this is gas operated.
I would never, ever buy anything gas again. Nothing but trouble. I had a chainsaw. Every year I had to take it apart and work 3, 4, 5 hours on it. Finally, I just couldn't fix it anymore. It just wouldn't work. I have a little weed whacker a guy bought for like $10 from a guy, and I brought it home and I got it to run, and it ran fine. And then after that, it just clogs up and it won't run anymore. Then I got an electric chainsaw with a battery, and I'm telling you right now, it's the greatest thing ever made. Absolutely. If you buy a chainsaw and you don't buy a battery chainsaw, you're crazy.
Put seafoam in your gas, and all those little engines will run great.
Yeah, and you can't run ethylenated gas in their small engines either. It has to be real gasoline with no ethanol in it.
Once you have the alcohol, if you have those little tiny engines like on a weed whacker, and you put alcohol gas in it, and you let it set over the winter, it'll never run again.
Well, I had several of them, and they sort of ran, and they didn't run well, and it was just a pain. And I had heard about this seafoam, so I put it in there, and geez, it brought them back to life. I mean, I was amazed.
I don't do anything with my engines now except for put in some seafoam at the end of the year. I run them in, park them, put some seafoam in, and I can go out there right now and start any one of them without any effort at all.
Well, that's truly amazing, but again, I learned my lesson. I will never buy anything ever again gas. I'll buy battery. The battery technology is a lot better than you think it is.
We have an electric one, a battery-operated one I got for Maureen. She doesn't like the loud weed whacker that I use, so got her a battery one, and that thing works dynamite. It's just a nice little unit.
That's right. Like my chainsaw, it takes 20 minutes to fully charge it. So if the battery's dead, put it on charge, 20 minutes, it's fully charged again. But the thing is, if you're going to use it in heavy-duty use, you get it with mine's a 2-amp-hour battery. You can buy up to a 7.5-amp-hour battery. If you put a 7.5-amp-hour on that, it would probably run for 3 to 4 hours continuous. So you would never have to worry about it.
How big of a log can you cut with that electric one successfully?
Yeah, it's I don't know. I think it's got a 14 or 16. It doesn't matter. It'll cut just as good as it'll cut every bit as good as a gas chainsaw.
Oh, so it's a 16-inch bar?
I don't know if it's a 14. It might be a 14 on that one. But the point is, if you buy one, they have every bit as much power as a regular chainsaw, so it's not an issue of power.
Does it have a clutch like a motor one, or is it direct drive all the time?
I would assume it's direct drive, because a DC motor produces full torque at stall, so I would say it's direct.
Yeah, that's the nice feature with the electric motor, is you have full power from low or high. Unlike a regular chainsaw. V3WL.
There he is.
Okay, now give us the report. What can you tell us?
I can tell you that I agree 100% with Randy. Seafoam is awesome stuff.
No. We're talking about the new Yaesu 101 MP or 101 whatever. What do you know about them? Give us the rundown.
I haven't seen one.
Oh, I guess all the stores around here have them.
Yeah, nobody here yet.
Okay.
Canada's last on the list. You guys got all the back orders.
Well, they're out. So did somebody check the website? Did somebody check the Sherwood and see what the specs are on that? Because he usually gets them right away.
I checked last week. He didn't have them on there.
Yeah, but they came out like this week. Or last week, I guess.
I think the 17th, WV2TTV.
There he is. Ray, ask Mike your questions.
I don't know. I really don't have any questions. I know you built a preamp. How does building an external preamp for that radio help the dynamic range? That was one of my questions.
But hold on. You were asking now for days. How does the interference? How do these things get interfered with? How does the radio work? You had a million questions. You kept asking every single person all these questions.
Well, I know how the radio works. I had two of them. But my question is, I know he built an external preamp. And the issue we talked about before is you can't turn the preamp on in the radio and use the pre-selector, because if you put on the pre-selector, it automatically shuts the preamp off. So can you run your preamp with the pre-selector on?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so the preamp, what's the gain of the preamp?
It's variable. At 6 meters, it's 25 dB, and about 18 to 20 dB between 11 megahertz and 30 megahertz. I deliberately leave it that way. And then, like on, it depends what my noise level is here. I use the attenuators in the radio, not on 6 meters, but on the lower frequencies, the 11 to 30 megahertz, to get the noise level so it's close to S1. So I have the AGC working in the radio, and no matter where I tune now, I never have to touch the volume control on the radio. I just leave it at 10 o'clock, and the AGC takes care of everything. So the preamp corrected like 4 problems. And the reason the preamp doesn't affect the pre-selector is it's before the pre-selector. It's in the receive in, receive out portion of the radio, which is essentially the first thing after the TR switch there. Ray, back to you.
Right, but on a stock one here at this location, as soon as you put either preamp on, the red light comes on. So now I always questioned why those bozos at ICOM didn't let you run at least preamp 1 with the pre-selector on. That doesn't make any sense. But of course they're so paranoid. They're literally paranoid over that red light coming on. They didn't want any chance of that to happen, so they make it so you can't run the preamp and the pre-selector. But here's my question. When you run your preamp and you can run your pre-selector, does it work? Can you go to, say, 10 meters, 12 meters, 15 meters, turn the preamp on and the pre-selector on, and you don't have the red light?
Yes, and I don't have the red light even with the pre-selector off on those frequencies. The only place I have overflow typically is in the AM broadcast band, because I got real strong AM signals here. So I made notch filters for those strong signals. So I brought them down around 20 dB, 118, 120. And in that way, I'm below that threshold for the overflow. But, in your case where you had 46 megahertz, they could also have notched that down, and then you wouldn't have had a problem with that. Back to you, Ray?
Yeah, but see, at nighttime, nothing on those towers is running. So the problem with the radios here were, if I put the preamp on anywhere, any band. It didn't matter. If I put it on 160, the red light would be on. If I was on 10 meters and I put the preamp on, the red light would be on. That was the problem. And it wasn't from what was behind my house. I don't think it was, because at night, none of that stuff's running. That 46 megahertz only runs during the daytime and really very occasionally. But that's the real strong one that would really flatten that receiver. But at nighttime, that's not on, and yet the red light was still always on. Now, the only other thing up there that runs all the time is a TV station that's on 400 plus megahertz. But that's on with a carrier. Obviously, there's a carrier going out on 400. I don't know what channel it is, but it's like 430 or 420 or whatever, up in the 400 megahertz range. Maybe that's what was getting into the radio.
No, I doubt that WB2TTV, it was the television station that high. The thing is, the radio is low-pass filtered for 60 megahertz and below. So it's pretty steep. Even the FM broadcast band isn't gonna affect it. But there must have been, if that was really the case, there must have been some really strong signals in those bands or close to those bands that was turning up for you. But in my case here, no, I'm fine. For 6 meters, I can run the whole 25 dB gain. There was one day where maybe a couple of days even, where a neighbor of mine was generating a lot of noise, and it was like 20 over S9, and it was all of 6 meters and beyond, and that was enough. That whole band of 20 over S9 was enough to bring the overflow light on, even though I had no strong signals besides that. So that's the composite noise problem that you can come up against. Strangely enough, the noise flanker took it out completely, but the overflow light stayed on. But sort of, something like that, no, I was surprised. Even the 6 megahertz signals, the shortwave signals, which come through real strong. Sometimes they can be 40, 50 over off of my antenna. Doesn't bring the overflow light on, so there isn't enough composite signal there to do it. But typically, it's the composite signal within the front end bandpass filter is what you're looking at, and usually, those filters are pretty good in the front. And they'll normally, in the other filter, it normally, unless it's close to the edge, it probably won't affect the overload situation. Back to you, Ray.
Well, I never figured out. All I know is if I put the preamp on, like if I was here talking to you right now, and I put preamp 1 or 2 on, the red light would be on. If I was up on 10 meters or 12 meters, and I put the preamp on, the overload light would be on. So something was setting it off. And again, they never gave you the ability to run the pre-selector and the preamp at the same time, which is, to me, blatant stupidity. Because there it is, they can't trust the ham to run the radio correctly, but with you can do it. So let me ask you this: when you're running your external preamp, we'll call it an external preamp, and the red light comes on or starts to flicker here or there, if you put the pre-selector on, does it stop it most of the time?
Yes, it would most of the time. And the other thing I can do is even though I got the preamp on, I can put in 3 dB of attenuation or 6 dB, and that would cure it too. So it's kind of a trade-off of what I want to do, or even what I need to do. But that hasn't been a problem. Actually, while you were talking, Ray, you were better than 30 over. And I know Rich is on up there too, and he was like 40 over. So I put preamp 1 on, and I put preamp 2 on, and I looked for the light on my radio here, and it didn't come on without the pre-selector on. Right now, I just did it as you were talking. Back to you.
Okay, well, anyway, you didn't get a hold of a Kenwood yet, huh?
No, actually I didn't. I'm still waiting for the other guy. He said the summer. We'll see. And I heard you talking, the Yazoo. That'll be interesting to hear what people have to say about that. It's the same architecture as your 890, except there's two receivers in it. And my understanding is the main receiver has the pre-selector on it too. Again, they're pre-selectors only for the ham bands. But, maybe not even all the ham bands. There only maybe be a couple of ham bands because it's the regular Yazoo pre-selector. But, you do get a lot there, and it's 9 megahertz, where yours is, I think, 8.2 is your IF there. And I don't know, claiming 150 dB blocking dynamic range at 100 kilohertz. I know one of the figures you always comment about. And, that's all the case. It's going to be a serious contender for the 890. And I guess they're going to be $39.95 to start. So if they come down a little bit, that'll kind of force Kenwood to maybe reduce their price, because everybody's been just staying steady at the present time. WV2TTV.
Okay, well, somebody else came in with the price of that radio a couple nights ago. Was it I thought it was 49. Was it 39 or 49?
$39.95.
Okay, well that's reasonable. And I think if it runs the same system as the Kenwood, I think it's going to be a really nice radio. And I think it'll be fun. And of course that puts ICOM in bigger trouble than they are now. Anyway, okay, N1 DVL.
Yeah, well, you probably heard too, Ray, that they got a new display manufacturer now for the 76. I guess all of ICOM's radios. So they're doing life testing on that. Now, life testing for 30 or 60 days, but maybe that'll solve the problems. And if they'll give people that already have radios that have used up their warranty, warranty just on the display that goes longer than a year, that would be nice. So we'll have to see. I'm still good till August, but my display, I looked at it tonight when I turned on the radio. I still see nothing wrong with it. And I also have a 22-inch monitor behind the radio now with the display, the screen on it. And that's real nice too. I got like a Spectrum scope now, pan adapter, of like 8 inches high by 15 inches wide. I can see every little thing in it. So, but I really like, I'm getting to like the 7610 since I've, corrected, a lot of the stuff here. I still have the touchscreen, some of the touchscreen things, but most nights I don't even have to pick up the stylus because I've got the memory set up, the memo pad, the band stacking registers, everything is set up so that they'll do stuff, change modes, frequencies, whatever I want, so I don't have to punch at the screen. So that was my main complaint to start out with. And the preamp all works automatically. It works with band data, and as I change frequency, it goes in and out as I need it, and then attenuations go in and out to always make the bands, as I said, down around S1. So that's kind of what I shoot for, and it's pretty much identical now as how I have the 746 Pro set up. So I'm happy with all of that, and I should be because I was the one that did it. WV2TTV.
I find it remarkable you can run 20 dB a gain on 6 meters and you don't have the red light on.
25 dB. I got more than you got.
It's remarkable that you're not seeing the red light. That's the thing that I'm shocked about.
And 6 meters is hot on the radio now. It's pretty good. I mean, I got a ultra low noise preamp in the 746 Pro for 6 meters, and the two are pretty much identical, and it's really good. So, and that 6 meters is important to me. So
So yeah, as I say, I'm getting happier with the radio. And another thing, Ray, even Randy's radio turns off the preamp when he puts on the pre-selector. Correct, Randy?
I would have to try it. I'm not sure.
November 1, November, Papa, Quebec.
Hey, Bill.
Good evening, guys.
WA2JID.
Hey, one quick question for Mike. Do you have an amp on 6 meters?
You mean amp on the transmitter, right?
Yeah, linear amplifier.
No, but I got it. As you may know, I got my tuner out at the antenna. I got it inverted out, and at the base of it, I have an H4, and that's been my limitation as far as only being able to run 100 watts here. And I also need that H4 out there because of the high SWR I have on some bands, because I use it 160 through 6. And so at Nearfest back in the fall, I picked up an SG235, and that's 500 watts. Actually, guys are running them at 600 watts, and so I want to bring that out in the next couple of weeks or so and try that and see how it works on my antenna. Kind of go from there. I was playing around with that yesterday, looking at loss and stuff, and it doesn't do 6 meters, but I have opened it up for 6 meters, but there's like 3 loss through it. But I may be able to compensate how that goes. But I did get 6 meters out of it. So if that all pans out, then next fall, hopefully I'll have higher power. So we'll see how that goes. Oh, question for you, Ray. You guys come across the 606s, the Meritron 606. What do you think of them? Are they any good, or what's your feeling? Back to you.
I know what you're talking about. A Meritron 606. What is it? A tuner or an amplifier?
I think he means a 1306.
No, the 606. The 13 is about 1300 watts. The 606 is 600. So I would go with my tuner.
Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't buy an Ameritron. I don't think they're very good. I would buy the new Palstar, the LA1K Palstar. It gives you 160 through 6.
Okay, the Ameritron gives you 160 through 6, but you think that's the better amp. So okay, well I'll look into that.
Go ahead.
And if this tuner works out and I can I can go to higher power, you guys will have less to complain about.
Well, I'm absolutely 100% sure that the Palstar is a better amplifier, and considering they're both, I think, exactly the same price. If you buy the new one from Ameritron, I'm pretty sure they're pretty close, within $100 or so of the same price. I would definitely buy the Palstar any time. Okay, go ahead. Somebody else pick it up. N1 DBL 7-3 for now.
Yeah, okay, 7-3. I'm going to head out because I have another group on 80 meters. We'll catch you another night here, WB2TTV.
Thanks for coming in, Mike.
You're welcome.
73 for now. KB2ZVP.
W2MUR. Good evening.
Hey, Bad Mike, where have you been?
I've been living life, spinning the plates, holding on to the merry-go-round.
Yeah, you sound great tonight.
Yeah, you do. Did you get a new radio?
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. No, I still got the 7610 and pretty much status quo here. I mean, I've got the LA1K amplifier, Palstar, and the Meritron tuner that tunes up this open line to my 160 dipole. So everything's fairly simple and operating pretty well so far. Thank God.
WA2JID.
Go ahead, Bernie.
Yeah, okay. I was playing around with this Flex. Does the audio sound any better?
Not a lot.
Oh, really? Huh.
Well, I ran it into a dummy load and listened to it on another radio, so I tuned it the best I could by ear.
Still using the same mic, right?
Yeah, but I think with this equalizer you could probably make a crappy mic sound pretty good.
Well, you haven't been able to yet.
Well, I don't know if it's crappy or not. I really don't.
It sounds the same on everything you use it on. That's a terrible sounding mic.
All right, well, I'll have to wire up another one.
What equalizer are you using?
What's that?
You said you have an equalizer. Who makes it?
Flex. 8-band equalizer.
Say again.
Hey, we got another Flex guy.
Got the 8-band equalizer.
Oh, okay, you got a Flex radio. Okay. I thought you were running a different kind of radio. Okay, yeah. Well, you got to play around with that equalizer a little more.
Yeah, I play around with it a little bit today with, I just fed it into a dummy load and I listened on another radio with headphones. I thought it sounded pretty good, the other radio, but who knows?
That's so muffled it's not even funny. If you listen to Bill say something.
Mary had a little lamb. Her fleece was white as snow.
If you listen to how good he sounds and how clear and sharp he sounds, and if you could hear yourself, you'd shoot that thing. It just is muffled. It's a muffled mess.
Yeah, Randy's not exaggerating. Your audio sucks. It just sucks. And, you know, we got it right here with those radios, and they sound fine.
But that mic on all your radios sounds the same way. It's not the radio, it's the mic.
Yeah, it could be. Maybe I'm overdriving it. Wait a minute. Let me bring it down a little.
It's nothing to do with your overdrive. No, listen. Pay attention, okay? It's not the volume. It's the mic. The mic is it sounds like you're talking through a comb with wax paper over it, okay? Take the microphone out in the driveway and smash it against the ground so you'll get this urge to use it out of your system, and order an MXL microphone or a decent microphone, and then put that on, and then life will be good for all of us.
Yeah, okay.
What microphone?
I'll probably smash it. It'll sound better.
Well, it couldn't sound a whole lot worse, I can guarantee you.
I doubled with you.
I was just agreeing with you. It doesn't matter what kind of mic it is. It's not going to be fixed. It sounds the same on all of his radios, exactly the same. Take the thing out and throw it in the creek.
Before the creek. Base EQ setting for it, just to try.
Yeah, give it a whirl.
All right, so 63 minus 4.
Say that again?
Bill, you are colossally wasting your time.
Who's the third guy in there that won't shut up?
Okay, so 125, set that to minus 5.
Okay, it's minus 5.
Okay, 250, set that to minus 2.
Okay, minus 2.
All right, set to 500 to plus 2.
Okay, plus 2.
Okay, set 2 to... Oh, wait, did we do 1K yet?
No, we haven't done 1K yet.
It's way better already.
1K to plus 4.
Okay, there's plus 4.
And now put 2K to plus 6.
Okay, it was at plus 5, now it's at plus 6. Now, I've got the low cut at 50 and the high cut at 3,000.
No, set the low cut to 100, and you want your high cut at 4,000. You want your 4K to minus 3, and 8K to minus 2. Or, no, I'm sorry. 4K is plus 3, and 8K is plus. Sorry. 4K is plus 7, 8K is plus 8, and you should sound 1,000 times better.
All right. I didn't do 63, but it's cut at 100. So, okay. There's all the settings that you gave me.
It's amazing how much better it sounds.
Night and day. You can make a crappy Mac sound good if you know how to set it up.
What about Bill?
Now, is the speech processor on?
Yeah, it's on normal. And the mic gain, let me see what that is. Hang on.
You better send him some money because he just saved you a ton of money.
Okay, the mic gain is on 50. Let me see. 52. Processor's on normal. And I can see it flashing. Okay, and it's going up to minus 10 on dB on the peaks.
Let me ask you this. Can you set another program into that radio and just be able to switch between program A and program B?
Well, yeah, I think we double. Go ahead again, Mike. Ray.
So, make sure you save this microphone profile.
Okay. Again, you got two people talking at the same time. So, Bernie, do you know how to put two programs into the radio, and then you could just switch back and forth?
Yeah, you save this profile. I'll have to give it a name, and I'll save that profile.
Okay, because I was going to say, save that profile, give it a name, save it, make sure it's saved, and then I'll give you the profile out of this radio. It's a completely different radio, and it's completely different than the one you just got.
Yeah, okay. Well, I tell you what, tell me, have you got an 8-band equalizer that you're going to give me, or what?
No, this radio's got a 17-band equalizer, but I mean, I could give you close to what it's going to be. You just tell me what band you have, and I'll tell you where mine is set. But like everybody said, you sound much, much better. Now, here's another question I have for you, though. You said that today that you were listening on another receiver, and you said it that way. But do you have other friends on other bands that you let listen to this thing, and they comment on how you sound?
I have talked to other people on other bands with other radios here. This is the first time I haven't played with this Flex too much, so. But anyway, I talked to a guy earlier, and I asked him how it sounds. He said, "Oh, it sounds fine."
Never ask that guy again how you sound.
Yeah, no. Because let me do this, because you're in an ornery mood tonight. The issue that I can see is because we've had this happen literally 100 times on the world famous HarborNet. Somebody like you will get a radio. They'll go to, say, another band. It doesn't matter which one it is, but it's usually 80 meters. All their buddies will tell them they sound great and we're crazy. And they come here and they sound absolutely terrible like you did. You sounded absolutely terrible. And believe you me when I tell you this, you still don't sound like you should, but you sound a hell of a lot better. So the point is, if you're listening to somebody on other bands, stop listening to them. That's my point.
He still had like a muffled edge to him, but he sounds like a bazillion times better than he did. Way more enjoyable to listen to.
Yeah, no, I concur 100% with Randy. You sound much better, but it still doesn't sound anywhere near what that radio should sound like. So don't think you sound great, but it's much, much better.
Hey, Bernie, why don't you try bumping the 63 up 125, keep that the same, and bump the 250 up 1.
Sure, Randy.
I'll tell you, for only having this radio for a few days, I've got it figured out pretty dang good.
Yes, you do.
Come again? You two doubled.
All right, saying what model Flex is it?
I have the 6500.
Yeah, mine's a 6300.
Is there much difference between those two radios besides maybe the slices or whatever you can get?
Yeah, the receiver is a little more beefy in the Flex 6500. It's got 4 PAN adapters also. So, hey guys, I'm getting a landline, so I'll be right back.
Yeah, I stepped away for a minute too, so anyway, hey, I'm getting there. I'll play around with it, and we'll keep doing this kind of thing. Like I said before, I'll get the Flex out, and then we'll get playing around with it, and maybe I can get it set up right.
Hey, Bernie.
Yeah.
Let me give you some good advice. Do not play with it anymore, because when you played with it, you had it all effed up. When Bill comes back in, or when Ray gives you some settings, you can play with it, but just make sure you save that setting that you have right now, because you thought it sounded pretty good before. Wait till you hear it now. You're going to be like, you're just going to boggle your mind.
Yeah, well, I probably could get a better mic too, so. But anyway, I really think you can have a halfway decent mic, or not a crappy mic or something that's defective, but I think you can make pretty much anything sound good. But it's going to take a while.
You can't bring articulation to a shitty, or I shouldn't say that. You can't make a crappy mic have good articulation. You need a professional quality microphone to do that. And that microphone you have is a Sears and Roebuck, garage sale special.
Yeah, maybe. They discontinued them, but there's a reason for that. But I've got other mics here. I'd like to try this 1D104 I got, but I got to wire it up. And I got a couple Electro Voice mics too. I got an Electro Voice 664. It could be good, might not be.
I would certainly try it.
Is the D104, that's the one that's got the mod in it?
It's a 60s microphone, but, it's a quality mic.
Is your D104 got the FET mod in it?
Yeah, I put that in a long, long time ago. It was an amplified mic, and I changed it over with the FET conversion. And I don't even remember, it was so long ago I did it, I don't really remember too much about it. I have all the documentation on it, but I could try that.
Yeah, okay. Well, like Randy said, and I'm telling you, you sounded like you were about on a scale of 1 to 10 before. I'd give you a 2 or a 3 at best. Now I'm giving you a 6 or a 7. So I mean, it's a major improvement, but it still doesn't have fidelity like it should.
Well, I can always buy another mic, but I'm not going to do anything right now. I just spent $5,000 on putting a new sewer system in.
Yeah, no, I know that. But you said you have an Electro Voice mic. Why don't you wire a couple of those other mics up to that radio and try them? Because I think any Electro Voice probably would sound pretty good.
Yeah, I think that 664 is a great mic. A lot of they use those. They use them. The band members used to use those. They carry them in their pocket, and they use them at the billy club because they were so heavy. I've read that. I don't know if that's really true or not, but they use them as a weapon.
I have one on me now.
We here have all found, everybody. I mean, we've gone through this time and time again, where everybody was buying those cheap, those BM8000s, BM800, BM8000, and the last guy that traded, he had I think he had the 7610, but he either had a 7600 or a 7610, and he had like a BM800 or 8000 on it, and he bought that MXL mic, and he went from the cheap mic to the good mic, and it would have just blown you away. It would blow you away to hear the difference between those two mics, and yet everybody who's ever heard a BM8000 on any radio says they sound great. They really, really sound good, and they seem to sound good. And then you put them up against a real microphone, and the difference is just so dramatic. The professional mic is just so much cleaner sounding and has such a much better sound. So, that's why Randy keeps on telling you about the mic you're on. I just think that microphone probably just, put the Electro Voice on. Take a shot, wire the Electro Electro Voice, and then we'll play around with that one.
There's nothing like a good BM.
Yeah, well, that may be true, but the microphones suck.
I had a BM this morning.
Okay, whatever. Anyway, I'll give you the program that I'm using in this radio, and you can approximate it with one of your other things and see if it makes a difference. Because I got much more. I'm all plus on everything.
What kind of mic are you running, Ray?
I'm running an Electro Voice 320.
Okay, a 320 by Electro Voice. Okay.
That was
that's more modern mic, right?
That's that's probably one of their newest mics, yes.
I was looking at the 664 just now, and there's a lot of people that like those things for highs. They use them for mouth harps, not a kazoo, what do you call it, a harmonica, and there's guys that sing in them, and they sound just terrific. So if you've got a good one, and the element's not all messed up, you probably got a darn good microphone there.
Yeah, I think they were made in the 60s. I think they were 60s and 70s. I'm pretty sure they don't make them anymore. But anyway, I'll wire it up. I got to get a connector. 3-pin connector on the back there that I've got. It'll take me a little bit. It takes some time. I'll try that.
Yeah, it doesn't have like the modern 3-pin back, does it?
No, it's a unique connector. I might have one. I think I was on eBay trying to find one, and I couldn't find one. They're very, very hard to find.
Oh, I think I have some here, Bernie. I'm going to look. That looks a little different. I just bought 5 3-pin connectors, but they're they look like they go on the front of a regular radio, like an 8-pin, but it's a 3-pin. Is that what that takes?
No, I was just looking. I'm wrong. It's a 4-pin. It's a big one too. It's a big 4-pin connector that goes in the back of the mic. And, I think I got one here. Yeah, I got one here. Yeah, I could probably wire that up onto something different.
It's a 4-pin? That's strange. So it's not XLR. For balanced input, you usually have just 3.
No, it's definitely a 4-pin. I got it in my hands right now.
Yeah, it's back from the 60s. If you take a picture of it and you can't get one that'll work, let me know, because I've got a great place for all that stuff, and I can get it for you, I'm pretty sure.
4-pin on the other end. It doesn't have push to talk as an on and off. I got to figure that one out. Well, I can push the talk externally. I'll play around with it when I get some time. I'd kind of like to try this.
When you how far are you talking from that microphone?
Oh, probably 6-8 inches.
Talk 1 inch from it.
Okay, 1 inch right there.
Yeah, now you sound okay. That's the whole secret. Now listen to me, okay? I'm talking like 1 inch from this Electro Voice, and now I'll get back 6 or 7 inches. 1, 2, 3. Mary had a little lamb, and then 1, 2, 3. Mary had a little lamb. See the big difference it makes?
Okay, I'm 1 inch away, but you guys were all doubling. There was about 3 or 4 guys at the same time. I'm 1 inch away. I'm 7 inches away, 8 inches away.
Right. Well, you got to talk with your lips right up against the microphone, not more than 1 inch. It makes a big difference.
Okay, there we are, right up against it.
Yeah,
give it
Bernie,
1 inch.
Make a transmission.
That 1 inch space, and that sounds a lot better. It's still very monotone, but it's much better.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, let me play around. I'll see if I can get the D104 hooked up too. I always use that on the Kenwood radios, and who knows? Maybe the element's bad by now.
KC1 DLN.
I'm gonna send you a video, Bernie.
Who's playing the harmonica?
Okay, you send it to me, Randy. I gotta wait till I get up in the house because I don't have an audio on this PC down here. I do have internet connection down here now. I got my wireless. I got a wireless adapter that's really a super one. I bought a Netgear. I think I bought it Saturday. So I got internet connection, but I don't have a speaker on this PC. I'd have to go in the house.
It's B. Sheher, right?
What's that?
Your email is your first letter of your first name and your last name.
Yeah, first letter of my first name and then the last name. Look on QRZ. It's on QRZ.
Yeah, I've got it in my phone. I've sent you enough stuff. I've got it in my phone.
Yeah, I think I got yours too.
Well, all I can say is you made a major improvement, so you're moving in the right direction. N1 DVL.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's what I got to do. And I thought maybe by playing around with putting it into a dummy load and listening on another radio with headphones. And I spent about 15 minutes moving it all around, and I thought it sounded the best. You know, I started out with just a standard profile and just started playing around with it, but this is much different. There's no question about it.
Well, it's not all muffled anymore.
I probably had too many lows in it.
Sound like there's no punch to it. Are you sure your processing is on?
Yeah, it's on, but hang on a minute. I can bump that up too.
It went from here in Canada. It went from being totally unintelligible to completely intelligible.
You were doubling with somebody. Do it again, Bernie. Do it again.
Okay, now I bumped it up from normal to DX.
Can we hear it both ways?
Okay, this is normal. This is normal, and I'm talking about 1 inch away. Okay, now this is DX, and I'm talking 1 inch away.
Yeah, very little difference. You could go with either one.
Normal's better.
All right, this is called DX Plus. And that's probably too much.
No, I think that actually sounds better.
Anybody else want to comment?
Might gain a little.
Yeah, I agree. Go put it back on normal and then come up on the mic gain. I think you said your mic gain was at 50. Go to 75 on the mic gain.
Okay, there's 73. Mic gain is at 73. Processor's on normal.
Yeah, you're talking away from the microphone again, though.
All right, I'm right up there now. I'm about 1 inch away.
Okay, then it's cutting back on him. It must be pushing his ACL too high.
Yeah, I would go back. Go to 60 on the mic gain. 60.
KHT3, KXP.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, Tom.
Hi, Randy. Hi, Jeff. Hi, Ray.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, Tom.
Howdy, howdy.
Hi, Tom.
How you doing?
Okay, this is at 60 on the mic gain.
Oh, much better.
The processor's on normal.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see you do processor on normal and then go back up to the super DX setting.
Then try super duper.
Okay, processor's on normal. I'm about 1 inch away. Okay. I'm going to go up to DX Plus. DX Plus. This is DX Plus. I'm still 1 inch away.
Yeah, okay. Let me hear it one more time. Processor on normal and then the second setting there. Not DX, not DX Plus.
Okay, processor's on normal. I'm talking 1 inch away. I'm going to put it up to DX. Okay, now it's at DX.
That's like saying processor on normal, 1, and processor on the other one, 2. You have to say more than just one word or 2 words. But I would just leave it on normal. Okay, I think it probably sounds better on normal.
I would agree. I would never use it on plus or positive or whatever you got it going on to there, the DX thing. It sounds way better on normal.
Normal is best. WG2E. Randy.
So now we just got to bring in a little bit of the low mid section of your voice up here. I would take and raise maybe the 250
go down to 25, Mike.
Points up.
You guys doubled. What do you want to do with the 250?
Move it up 2 from where it is.
W2CNS. 2 is at 0.
So you just moved it up?
Yeah, I moved it up from -2 to 0.
Move it 2 more up.
Wait. Please. You can't do what you're doing. You can't just say, okay, I moved it up. You got to hear it one way and then the other. If you want to do this right, you got to do it right. Say, Mary had a little lamb. Her fleece was white as snow. And then flip it up to the next position and say the same thing again.
All right. 250 is at -2. Mary had a little lamb. Her fleece was white as snow. That's at -2 on the 250. Now I'm going to take it up to +2. Okay, it's at +2. Mary had a little lamb. Her fleece was white as snow. Mary had a little lamb. Her fleece was white as snow.
Yeah, I would leave it back where it was. Or not up to +2. I would go back to where it was. Put it back on -2. Let's try. What's the next step down from that one?
125.
Okay, where's 125 set?
It's at -5. 125 is at -5.
Okay, so let's do Mary had a little lamb at -5 and go up to, say, -1.
Okay, Mary had a little lamb. Her fleece was white as snow. Mary had a little lamb. Her fleece was white as snow. And we're at -5. We're going to go up to -1. Okay, Mary had a little lamb. Her fleece was white as snow. And we're at -1 on 125.
Yep, that sounds a lot better.
Well, you must have a really good ear, because I couldn't tell one bit of difference, but it doesn't sound any worse.
Well, I'm going to save this profile, and then we may go from there, and I'm going to try a different mic. It's going to take me some time to get these mics wired up. I may try the E104 first, but yeah, we'll play around with some different mics.
Well, at least you went way to the positive tonight. You sound way better than you did, so you made real big progress.
Okay, before we go, and we want to give somebody else a chance to talk, I've got a hand mic here that came with the radio. So let me put that on and just see if that sounds worse, better, or whatever. I'm going to put that on, and go ahead if somebody else wants to talk. I'm going to put the hand mic on.
KC1 VLM.
Just stand by until he comes back with the other microphone.
The radio out with. This is the hand mic that came with the radio, and it's got a switch on the back, high and low, I think. So does this thing sound better, worse, or no different?
That sounds way worse. So flip the switch and try it again.
No comment?
Yeah, it sounds way worse. Much worse.
Okay, now this is at a different setting. This is at setting number 1. Still sounds worse, right?
Yeah, it does not sound good at all, so you can get rid of that for now.
Yeah, well, I kind of discount these hand mics that they send out with radios anyway. I hardly ever use them. So anyway, okay, so that's what came with the radio.
Well, you made real progress tonight, so yeah, that's enough for tonight. And the other station I wanted to get in there. Go ahead.
Good evening, gentlemen. Hey, what's your thoughts on the new Yaesu that's coming out? I heard you guys talking briefly about it earlier there. I wish I'd gotten in there a little quicker.
Well, I don't think anybody's got any thoughts on it because nobody's seen any test results on it so far. So before I would buy one, I would look at the Sherwood Engineering's test data on the thing. He usually gets one right away. If they came out today, he'll probably have it within a week or two and test it. So I would wait for that. Well, let me ask you a question. What kind of radio are you on now?
Running a FTDX 5000 right now.
Yeah, so in other words, you're a Yaesu guy, so you want to buy another Yaesu. That's why I asked that question. It looks like it's going to be a decent radio, but I certainly wouldn't buy one. And that FTDX 5000 is an excellent radio, so you don't have to, other than the fact you may be looking for the display on the new radio, right?
Well, not necessarily the display, more along the lines for digital work. I like the idea of being able to, go right to the computer with it.
Oh, okay. Well, you're certainly not going to get a major improvement over the two radios. Although that, if the specs they're telling everybody are correct, it's going to be a lot better than the radio you have. I'm running a Kenwood 890, which, according to the specs on both radios, at least what Yaesu's telling people, the 890 and that new radio are going to be very close, and the 890 is very good. It's way better than the radio you have.
Which radio is it?
This is a Kenwood 890.
Oh, the 890. Okay, all right. No, that's great.
It's got a very high dynamic range receiver in it, like that Yaesu's supposed to have. They're telling there that 150 dB, basically the 100 what Sherwood calls the 100 kilohertz dynamic range of this Kenwood's 151, and Yaesu's claiming 150 on their radio, which is what I would look for.
Geez, I thought it said 152, so it's 150?
Well, here's the thing. We don't know what it is, because until Sherwood tests it, and Sherwood uses the same test procedure for all the radios, then you can compare one to the other. But for instance, your radio, let me look up your radio real quick, because I was very surprised that your radio, that Yaesu 5000, doesn't seem to have a very good 100 kilohertz dynamic range.
Well, I don't know. I checked on Sherwood earlier, and I didn't see anything on there. I imagine they'll have something in the near future.
I'm sure they will, but let me see if I can find yours real quick, your Yaesu 5000. I know I've hit, but unfortunately, when you're looking for something, you can't ever find what you're looking for.
I think in Sherwood, we're like, 7 or 8 from the top.
Yeah, it's on there. It's up in the top 10.
Okay, well, let me start again, because I must have gone by it then. Let me find it for sure, and I'll tell you. Here it is. I got it. Okay, now here's the thing that concerns me about a 5000. The Yaesu 5000 FTDX 5000D. The 100 kilohertz blocking dynamic range is only 127, and that's not very good.
Yeah, but isn't there a difference between the D and the MP?
Yeah, you were doubling. Say again. What would you say about the what do you call it?
Well, I was just wondering, there's a difference, isn't there, between the D and the MP model, isn't there?
I do not know. I'm not a Yaesu person, so let me go on and I'll look and see. But the 5000D is 127 dB, and they got a little number there. Let me see what the number says. It's going to say why it was so low. So let me see what the number is. It's an S. Let me look that up.
Probably fail.
No, let me look it up. S. Whatever S is. Hang on. Yes, using ARRL 3 hertz bandwidth blocking method. I don't know why he would do that with that particular radio, but anyway, it's 127. And I'll go on and look and see if there's anything else in there. Now the 3000, the FTDX 3000 is 132 on the 100 kilohertz spacing.
Yeah, I thought I read somewhere that the MP was like a 150. Of course, that wasn't from the Sherwood. So.
Well, let's put it this way: I would never ever believe what the manufacturer's telling you. That's just crazy to even believe that, because they just pump up the specs to whatever they think they can get away with.
Oh yeah. Well, they want to sell their product. You got to make it look good, I appreciate the comeback and the info. Geez, I'll have to keep an eye on that and see what the deal is with the models, I guess, with the D version and the MP version. So I don't know. We'll grab one of them probably once they get out and around.
Well, I would wait until Sherwood comes out, and I'm much more interested in that 100 kilohertz blocking dynamic range, because I've had plenty of. I'm in a location here that's up on a mountain, and I've got 2 commercial towers in my backyard, and the radios that don't have the good 100 kilohertz blocking dynamic range just get wiped out up here. I had a 7610. I had 2 7610s, and they both would get wiped out up here. So. I'm very leery about that's the thing I look at. It's the 100 kilohertz blocking dynamic range. If the radios, like all the SDRs, all the SDRs are pretty poor in that area, and they're going to be overloaded if you happen to have. Where are you located?
I'm located in Newport, Maine.
Okay, well then you won't have those kind of problems in Newport, Maine, because you don't have a lot of stuff. But if you live in Boston, if you live in Philly, if you live in New York City or stuff like that, you got to pay attention to that. Up where you are, it probably doesn't matter much.
All right. Well, hey, what do you want again for radio there? I'd like to take a look-see at it.
Yeah, this is a Kenwood 890.
890. All right. I'll have to look that one up. And, okay, thanks a lot for the info, guys, there. I was just curious on what you guys' thoughts were on the new rig coming out. And I know that previous SDR that Icon came out, I'm not having any good luck with all the reviews on all that great. But anyhow, hey, thanks a lot. And I'll let you guys get back to doing your test and such. Have a good one. By the way, this is Jason. Here from the great state, Pine Tree State of Maine, the Pine Tree Rig. 7-3. This is K1DLN. I'll be clear listening.
Okay, quick. Do you have any snow on the ground?
None. I got no snow here where I'm at, but about 25 miles north of here, there's all kinds of it.
Yeah, okay, because they were saying about on the TV today that finally the snow's gone from somewhere in Maine, and it just went in the last couple of days, so I was just wondering if you had any. But this 890 Kenwood, you don't seem to be very familiar with it. This is there was a 990 Kenwood, which came out maybe 5 years ago, maybe 5, 6, I don't know. And this is the newest radio Kenwood has out, the 890. And this radio has a very low noise, very low phase noise, probably the best of any of them, or as good as the best couple of radios. And it's 100 kilohertz blocking is 151 dB, which so far that's the highest ever measured from Sherwood Engineering. It went to this radio at 151. So it's got a really good high dynamic range receiver in it, and in fact it does, because up here on the hill nothing bothers it. Okay, see you later, N1DBL. My name is Ray. I'm in Wilbraham, Mass.
Okay, Ray, good chat with you. Yeah, the 890 just came out probably, in the last 6 or 8 months. Does that sound about right?
I think it came out about probably 10 months ago, something like that. But yeah, you're basically right. 6-8 months. That's close enough.
Well, all right. Hey, gentlemen, you guys have a good evening, and maybe we'll catch you down the road there a little bit. 7-3, AC1.
Right, I had the 7600, and then I bought the 7610, but the 7610 could not live up here in my location where the 7600 could. And nothing behind me bothered the 7600 at all, but it killed that 7610. Okay, again, see you later, N1DBL.
Hello, KA3SBK.
My, you're late tonight.
Yeah, I was working on the cars tonight, and I had to go to my son-in-law's. He's flipping a house, and he needs some electrical expertise, and he's asked me if I want to start working on some stuff at the house, and I'm just getting involved in something. Maybe I don't know if I want to, but I might anyway.
Well, just make sure he pays up on his fire insurance.
Yeah, everything's good. They got everything insured and all that. They bought a used house, and he needs work, and I just went over to kill some power to make it safe so they could take out a swimming pool that was there that they want to get rid of it because it's going to decrease from the house's value.
Right, okay. Well, you said you were working on cars. Were you recurving the distributor on your new car?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I was into tweaking the computer on it, and I had my laptop out, and I got me probably about another 400 kilowatts out of it.
I'll tell you what, I think the only thing that you need on those cars, I ran into a guy up in a few years ago, had the little sports car version of it, and I was looking at it, and they're a pretty nice car, and he finally came in, and I knocked on the window. He goes, hang on, I'm on a phone call, I'll be right with you. And he opened. So I said, I've never seen one of these before. I said, how is it? He goes, oh, I love it. He said, it's a great car. He goes, actually, I'm thinking of buying the new battery that just came out. And I said, well, is the battery gone bad? And he goes, oh, no, it hasn't gone bad. He said, but with the new battery, he said it does like 0 to 60 in, I don't know, like 3.1 seconds or something. He said this one's like 4.5 seconds. He says it's a lot faster with the new battery in it because it's a bigger battery. So it appears all you need with those cars is a bigger battery, and then you go faster.
Well, it may not necessarily be so true. If you bought the Tesla S, you'll go a little bit faster, but not a phenomenal amount faster. They have a different motor. They have a sport electric motor that they put inside of it that drastically goes faster with a large battery. I have the standard little motor, but I have the enlarged battery, and yes, it makes the car 1 second faster in a quarter mile because of the bigger battery. But if you had the enhanced motor, you literally drop 3 seconds off the quarter mile easy.
Yeah, but can you just put the enhanced motor into any car?
No, it's designed for that particular model, like Tesla S, Tesla X, and the Tesla, my brain dead, the one I had, Tesla 3, they all have different motors. They're not, I don't believe they're interchangeable, and it's a lot involved. It's something you don't want to do. It's something you buy the car the way you want it and pay the money, let them do it. But they did give me something that I played with this weekend. The enhanced driving, where the car drives itself, and it's pretty cool, but I really, personally, didn't feel comfortable because I just like driving myself.
Yeah, well, unless you're falling down drunk, you know, I wouldn't do it. So let me ask you this: if you have a car that has this enhanced driving system in it and it's fully capable of driving the car, can you be falling down drunk and sit in the passenger seat and have the car drive you home and not get busted for drunken driving?
I guess the answer to that question is, I think you could. I don't know that for a fact. I'm not going to try it. But someone's already done it. Someone fell asleep in the back of the car, and they got their car going. They were drunk as a skunk. They got in the back of the car, and the police were following them. Noticed the guy was passed out in the back of the car. The car was driving them home. So they were pretty smart about it. They pulled in front of the car. They hit the brakes on the police car. The car avoided hitting the police car and came to a stop, and they arrested him.
Well, how could they arrest him? He wasn't driving.
He wasn't in control of his car either. So far, you're not allowed to. You have to have your hand on the car. You can't have your hand off the steering wheel of the car for more than 20 seconds, where it automatically flashes a warning on the screen saying put hand back on the steering wheel.
Oh, okay, I see. Well, someday that'll be the greatest thing in the world for drunks.
And you know what? The people are going to do it. The people are probably doing it now. But I think that's just a little too scary for me. I was driving the car. I was letting it drive itself, and you know, it's weird because you grab the steering wheel and try to move it. It's tiring. If you pull on a certain amount of tension on the steering wheel, one way or the other, trying to make it do something it's not supposed to do, it automatically disengages the driving because it sees that you want to take control of the car. But it's sort of weird because if you jerk on it too hard, you don't realize that you could jerk your car into the wrong lane. You have to put tension on it till it lets loose. Or if you just tap the brake one time, it puts it back into manual driving.
Yeah, well, I could do without that. I would never trust it. You know, I know they end F-18 Super Hornets on carriers in the dead of night, pitch black, can't see your hand 3 feet in front of your face, and yet the plane will come down and land on the deck of the carrier. And from what I understand, the things are flawless. But boy, I'll tell you what, I'd have a hard time doing that. Of course, if you can't see, you really have to do it. You know, if it's pitch black out, you know how black it is in the ocean with no moon out. I mean, you can't see anything. So, I mean, you just have to let the plane go down and land. But I don't think I'd be too thrilled about that. Anyway, go ahead, N1DBL.
Okay, 3 Well, you figure anybody who flies at night, it's all instrument flying, and that's why people that have daytime licenses and they have nighttime flying licenses for instruments, and totally different licenses. You know, if you're flying at night, you're supposed to have your instrument license to fly, because you can't see jack. You know, that's it. I mean, you're relying on the instruments, and that's the only way you're going to get home. I don't know how else to do it. I couldn't do it. I already made up my mind that I will not spend the money for that auto driving feature at all. It's in the car, and you just have to pay for it to activate it. But they give you a free trial, and I'm not interested. I turned it down once before, and I said, all right, let's try it one time. And I am already convinced that it's not me.
Yeah, same with me too. I agree. I don't think I would like it very much at all. There's got to be many instances that you can get into a situation where the thing is gonna do something very wrong. Anyway, who else is out here? Go ahead. Somebody else pick it up. N1DBL.
I know there's got to be people in the woodwork. K3SPK.
Yeah, I'm still here. WA2E.
Well, hello there.
I'm taking it all in.
I'm sorry I doubled with you.
Did you learn anything tonight?
Not really. But it was fun.
Well, you saw how much better Bernie's radio sounds after we tweaked it a little bit.
Oh, yeah, you bet. Yep, I sure did, too.
Actually, I heard that. His radio does sound a lot better. I think he could probably tweak a little bit more, but it sounds really a lot better than when I was hearing him when he first came in there.
Well, you know, the whole secret of if you have a really good radio, if you go out and you spend the money for a really good radio, then you unfortunately have to spend the money on a really good microphone to go with it.
Yes, I agree with that 100%.
I mean, look at you, you know, your radio sounds good. But that other guy's radio that had that Yaesu last night, he sounded really good, too. He sounded just about the same as you do.
And he is using the profile I sent him. I gave him my new profile.
Well, it works well because it sounds just about as good as you do, you know. Maybe not quite as good, but gee, pretty damn close. Not you couldn't complain about it, that's for sure.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I said when I get the radio back, I won't be running it on the amplifier, but I'll get it on. I have a dipole, and I'll run it on the dipole, but I'm not going to disconnect everything and put it on the amplifier. When I get in here when the band's good, and I'll let you hear it. And I think it sounds better than what it did. I worked on it, and I really do think it's a vast improvement to what it was. Is it as good as this one? No, it isn't. But it is real.
Well, he's running an FT 100 or whatever microphone on it, and that microphone's not as good as the mic you have. What microphone were you running on your Yaesu when you finally got it set up right?
The RE320.
Okay, well the RE320 is a good mic, so it'll sound fine.
The MD100s are good mics too for this. They're not bad mics.
No, they're not bad, but they're not in the class with the 320 or the MXL either.
Yeah, it's a big price difference. One's, you spend about $125 for one, and the other one you spend like $300.
Well, you just, like I said, if you have a really good radio, you got to have a good microphone to go with it. There's just no way around that. We've seen it 100 times here now. Everybody that has the Pro Series microphone they all sound better. Now, one of them didn't.
What we need to do is get somebody with an old Telefunken microphone.
No, we don't.
I knew you'd say something.
KB2's ZVP.
Randy, you need one of those old mics they had back in the 20s. Remember the mic that was suspended? It was a big circle, and the mic was suspended by rubber bands?
It was suspended by springs, and it was a hot mic, and I want that microphone. I've been looking for one at all the Hamfest.
Exactly. That's the secret. The mic was hot, and we're going to hook it to the plate voltage on your amplifier. So when you get overly zealous, there'll be a crack and a bang, and you'll fly across the room, and that'll calm you right down.
Yeah, that would take the wind out of your sails, no doubt about that.
Well, those things had pretty high voltage on them because, people, when they touched those microphones, they really got zapped. I think they were like 800 volts or something, weren't they?
Well, I couldn't tell you that. I doubt they're that much, Ray.
Were they tube?
I don't know. Those old mics back from the 20s and the 30s. I'm telling you, they were high voltage because I know if you touched them, you got a hell of a shock. I don't know what the voltage was. Where's our chief engineer? He would know.
I've got bit from microphones from playing guitar lots of times.
I've got bit by microphones just from RF.
Yeah, even an RF bike can really burn you good if things are really that hot.
I remember as a kid, I had my novice license, but I still was, I had this, trying to remember, Viking. Yeah, it was a Viking 2 transmitter. I was fooling around with it on AM with a mic. I had all this equipment. I didn't know what all of it was, and had all kinds of RF. And I remember just touching my lips to that metal screen, and it literally had a white mark on my lips.
You were medium rare.
I was medium rare. I remember, as a little kid, I used to amaze my friends with, I'd take a light bulb, a little 100-watt light bulb, and I'd put it in this homebrewed tuner that I'd picked up, with this whole big load of estate sale stuff that I got from this lady for $300. I've told you the story. And I would take this little light bulb and I'd hold it in the middle of this tuner, and I'd key the mic, and a bulb would light up mysteriously, and then my buddies would just freak out when that happened. I used to amaze my friends.
Did you look that up on a computer, what the voltage was on those microphones back in the 20s and the 30s?
Talking to me?
Well, anybody who's good with a computer, maybe you could find that out.
Well, it can't exceed the voltage of the device that you're hooking it up to unless you're getting 125 volts off of it.
I'm pretty sure they were hooked direct to the modulator in the radio, whatever that was, and I'm guessing it's 800 volts, 600 to 800 volts.
That's not good. Yeah, well, I can't even believe even back then they would allow 800 volts to be on your mic.
Oh, are you kidding? Back then, stuff was so dangerous, it was incredible. Don't forget, every radio made back then only had a 2-wire cord on it, so the damn chassis of the radio could be hot.
Well, that's what I say. I could definitely understand how maybe a line voltage would be on your microphone, but I can't imagine anything more than line voltage would be on there, because you'd have to have an isolation capacitor between the hot side of your mic and the rest of the modulator.
You can take a regular ham amplifier, and if you have a 220 volt amp plugged into the wall and you disconnect the ground, the amp still works perfect. But if something shorts out, you get plate voltage that goes to ground in the amp, the chassis of the amp becomes hot, and it'll still run perfectly normal.
Plate voltage to ground?
If the ground is unhooked and the plate voltage goes to chassis, it won't blow the fuse. So if you touch the chassis, you'll get electrocuted. Hence, that's why everybody insists on a good station ground, because if the ground wire to the 220 volt line in the wall comes unhooked, the station ground will double as that ground.
Yeah, it'll just carry through the braid on the coax right to you. Eventually it could go right to your mic.
Right, but I was working. That other guy, Randy. I don't think you ever really met him. He moved to Florida. He had the Sigma amp that I have here, and it had a short in the chassis of the amp was short. It had the 3,000 volts on it, and the ground wasn't soldered inside the amp, and it was a solid wire. The plug, somebody put a 6-foot, 7-foot plug on it, was solid 12 gauge wire. So when you move the plug, say that you had the plug and you moved it around outside the amp, the ground was just twisting inside the lug. Nobody ever soldered it. So essentially, when the amp was sitting there, when I was working on it, that ground if you moved the cord, you could unhook that ground, and then the chassis was hot with 3,000 volts, and it wouldn't blow the fuse.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine the feeling if, say, your nose hit the mic? The nose is such a sensitive part of your body. That had to kill.
Well, that's what I told him that time. I said, you should, and he actually bought a solid state amp after that. I said, you almost got killed. I said, because he was playing around with it like that. And I said, you came very close to getting killed. I really highly suggest you buy a solid-state amp because you're lucky you're not dead.
It'd be bad when your nose got welded to the mic.
Yeah, you get hit by 3,400 volts just standing on the floor on a cellar floor. You're pretty much dead.
Especially in the head.
So anyway, I think Ray needs to hear about the Easter Bunny.
The one on TV that beat the crap out of the guy?
No. Saturday I show up to this. I had a friend of mine, a good friend of mine's wife, recruited me to be. She wanted me to be the Easter Bunny for 20 or 30 kids that were having an Easter egg hunt on Saturday around 2:30. So I show up there, and I'm thinking I'm going to get a regular Easter Bunny outfit with a head that goes on over it. Nobody's going to know who I am. So I go in her bedroom. I'm getting this thing on, and it's nothing but a freaking pair of, nothing but a glorified pair of pajamas that I put on. The things are tight around me. And then the head is just kind of slipping over just like a little head, like a little hat almost, but it's going over my face down to my nose, not even over my whole head. Now I can't even see where I'm even going. I can't even see where I'm going. So I'm like, this thing is like a bodysuit. It's like a onesie on me almost, and it's just ridiculous. I mean, come on, really? I mean, I can't pull it off. I'm on this off. So now I got this thing on, and I got this you got ears, and I got this thing over my head. I can't see where I'm going. She says, okay, go out the front door and come around the back, and then I'm going to signal you when you got to come in. So I hear her saying, kids, I've got a surprise for you. The Easter Bunny's coming. And so I kind of come up, and I walk into the back patio door like a geriatric bunny from hell, and because I can't see where I'm going. If I would have came in there like gangbusters, I would have been taking kids out like they would have been flying. I would have been tripping. I probably would have fell on a couple of them. Now I come in really gingerly hopping, and really gingerly giving eggs out, putting eggs down the breasts of women and giving eggs to kids, and I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm going, and I'm just kind of moving around very gingerly. Can't see where I'm going, and all you can see is my double chin and my neck. It's about all you can see is, you can see my hands, and I got my shoes on. They look ridiculous. It was the most humiliating experience I've ever been through.
Did anybody see the Easter Bunny on TV? I don't know where he was. He was somewhere, and some guy must have been harassing him, and he gets into a vicious fight, and Easter Bunny's pummeling this guy. He's kind of on the ground, and he keeps on punching him in the head and kicking him and everything. Did anybody see that?
No.
Yeah, they showed it on Fox News today. Look it up. It was funny.
A while ago, wasn't it?
Isn't there a video of there were chickens out there, and then an Easter Bunny got involved, and the chickens and the bunnies were fighting?
No, this was a real guy beating up. I think he was standing out. It looked like he was standing in front of a hotel or something, and some guy started a couple of people started harassing him, and he started a fist fight. And the Easter Bunny's all in a complete beautiful costume. You can't see him at all. You can't see his hands or inside the white suit. But he beat the crap out of the guy. He had him down on the ground, and he kept on punching him left, right, left, right, left, right. He kept on punching him in the face.
No, the one I'm talking about, too, is it was a video of guys. There were two guys dressed up in chicken outfits for chicken outfits. And then some bunnies came up and some cows came up. The guys dressed up in bunny outfits and cow outfits, and they were going after these guys dressed up in these chicken outfits, and they got into this big brawl, and this guy was taping this from the car, laughing hysterically. You know, and I don't know what the deal was. It was some kind of a restaurant, and they were on the wrong corners. And then you had like guys dressed up in chickens, cows, and bunnies were all fighting each other.
Well, Randy's so sick. His favorite one is when these people nurse this little bunny back to health, and they decide to let it go free, and they put it out in the yard, and it hops across the yard, and all of a sudden this huge fanged beast, bird of prey comes down and grabs the bunny and takes off with it.
Oh my God!
Where'd Randy run off to?
I'm here.
Isn't that one of your favorites, Randy?
I was getting a glass of water out in the kitchen, so I'm not sure what was my favorite.
When those people nursed that little bunny back to health and they let it go in their yard?
Oh my God, that was funny. I mean, not for the kids, of course, but for grown adults that hate. Well, I don't hate rabbits. I don't dislike rabbits at all. But it was a riot. I mean, it was. I know it's sick and all that to think that was funny, but it was funny.
No, it's funny.
Well, anyway, that bird got a nice meal because he landed on that bunny, and when he left, the bunny wasn't there.
Okay, so I'm
Randy,
looking at real
had the
Donald
bike
Trump
out
on
yet?
Instagram, and so you got Donald Trump and Melania, and the bunny was the best bunny ever. The bunny had glasses. This is a real bunny, not the loser bunny that the kid from Colin Patton had. It was a genuine bunny. This bunny was like awesome, man. The White House bunny. That's the kind of costume I would have proudly wore.
Well, we went up to the Northampton Hotel one time. I was with Lisa. They had it must have been, it was Easter, had to be Easter. It was Easter. And they had a professional, guy in a costume there. And I'll tell you what, that was the best bunny costume I ever saw in my life. It looked like something Disneyland made. It was absolutely perfect.
Yeah, that's what I needed. This
Hey,
bunny,
Randy, have you had
the White House bunny next
motorcycle
to Trump and Melania, it was had glasses on even, man. These big round glasses. Cool.
I'm heading to bed. 73 KB2ZVP.
This is a highly technical discussion, Randy. You can't go now.
I'm starting to go up to 100 watts here on the radio and let the amp cool down for a couple minutes, and then I'm going to bed also.
Hey, Randy, this is a very technical discussion. I think we need your input, Randy. You got to just give us a little more input before you go to bed.
No, he must be tired. He left.
You know how he feels.
Yeah, I was trying to ask him if he's had his motorcycle out yet.
Yeah, he drove it up the street. He fired it up and drove it up the street and went up a mile or two and came back. That's it.
Yeah,
I just got finished watching the bunny brawl.
After work, gave her a nice bath, so she's sleeping good tonight, nice and clean.
You should never wash a motorcycle and then not drive it. You should drive it for 15 or 20 minutes to get it all dried out.
Oh, I did. I took her. I went out for just about a 20-minute ride and got her all dried off, and then came back and wiped off the little water spots from where the water splashed back up on her.
No, don't you have two of those things?
I do. Her sister's going to get cleaned tomorrow.
Why do you need two of them?
It's like shoes, depending on what I'm wearing. It depends on what bike I ride.
Are they both the same?
No, they're not the same. One's a Hammer, one's a Vegas. One's more of a sporty bike, and the other one's more of a laid-back type bike.
I was tempted to buy one the other day, but I just I just can't do it. I know. It's like one of those things I'll buy, and then 2 years later I'll sell it for like a $500 loss.
500?
Or more.
A lot more than that.
Well, if I buy it used.
Oh, Oh, yeah, to buy a used. Yeah, forget, you're too old to be driving a motorcycle. Don't even think about it. You'll end up in a wheelchair for the rest of your life. That's insane.
I miss having
Once
mine.
you're over probably, Christ, 40 years old. I got out of mine at 37. Over 40, you should give them damn things up. Okay, I'm going to bed, everybody. 7-3-10-1 DBL.
73's Ray. Yeah, I'm off as well. I got a big day tomorrow, so I got to get ready for bed here, too. 73's one and all. Tom, if you're out there, 73's Bill and Mark and Carl and whoever else is out there if I'm missing. 73's from Holland Pat, New York, W2MUR.
Yep, I'm heading out too. 73 fellows, WA2E here.
Here too, so 7-3s, guys, in one. Yeah, getting a little noisy here with the lightning crashes, so I'm going to head out as well. Take care, guys. Have a great week. VE3WL.
Anybody left in here? WA2JID. Just me and the static, I guess.
Anybody left out there this evening? KA2 EXP.
Yeah, hello.
This is Steve in Albany, KA2 EXP. Good evening.
Yeah, okay, Steve in Albany. This is WA2JID, Bernie in Binghamton, New York. Yeah, I just saw somebody come up there in 1930, so I thought I'd see if you were calling CQ or whatever was going on. Name here is Bernie. Call is Whiskey Alpha 2, Juliet, India Delta.
Okay, very good, Bernie. And Roger on Binghamton. I've been there when I worked for GE. I stayed in a hotel there while I was working there off of, I think it was Harry L. Drive, if I'm not mistaken. That was a few years ago. So, yeah, you got a good signal in here. We're only running 100 watts. I got I rearranged my antennas, put them up higher, and one of them is touching a tree branch, and I got a report earlier that my son said that when I was running the Clifford in, he heard the sparking and the tree was burning, and what happens is there was a tree branch touching the antenna, and so I'm only running 100 watts now, so I don't set the tree on fire. Over.
Yeah, okay. Well, you're about an S10 here with 100 watts. I'm running probably close to 1,000, driving the amplifier with about 60 watts. And it's an AL82. It'll do good 1,500. But anyway, I've just been playing around in the band here a little bit. And, okay, Harry L. Drive. Were you out by the mall there when you stayed? That would be, probably you stayed out that way.
Yeah, there was, from what I remember, maybe it was Endicott. I don't know. But there was a big IBM plant there at the time. Everybody worked for IBM. Over.
Yeah, I worked there for 30 years, too.
Okay, very good. So the memory is still good. So, yeah, you're 25, peaking at 25 over here. I'm just running 100 watts. I'm using a hand converted V with the W2DU balance head with coax, center being up at, it's a converted V, center being up, half-wave dipole up probably 60 feet in the center, and then each side going out 126 feet either direction. And since being I got to sort of jog it over at the end because the property line runs out. So looks, if you were to fly over the place, it would look like sort of the shape of a Z with the antenna being in the middle and holding the center up, and that way I was able to squeeze in a half-wave dipole. So generally it does pretty good, and I can do a lot better with the Clipper than now, but I got to insulate, to cut that tree branch off tomorrow. Over.
Yeah, okay, I got to get up there. My antenna is an off-center fed dipole. It's up about 35 feet at one end, and the feed point is up about 20-25 feet, and that's directly above my head. And it's got 175 feet one leg that's attached to the house, and then the feed point is right directly above my head. In my garage out here. I've got my shop and my ham shack is out here. And then it goes off at about a 30-degree angle at 60 feet, and then I drop down 15 feet. So it kind of fits into the lot. It's not really optimum, but I had to use an off-center fed dipole just to get it to fit into my lot here in Vestal, New York, 10 miles west of Binghamton. But anyway, I'm right across the river from Endicott. And like I said, I had worked there for, I worked there for 28 years, and I took an early window. I was 49 years old, and I did
Still there, Bernie? All of a sudden something happened and you were gone. Yeah, so far nothing yet. We're not hearing anything. Something happened. Maybe the amp went up in smoke. that'll do it. I had that happen to me, the SP200. I was running in one of the filter caps, had a catastrophic failure and exploded in the, put a dent in the top of the SP200, and a lot of fire, a lot of smoke. And I had the thing right in front of me when it happened. It, scared the heck out of me, over. Yeah, okay, Bernie, we'll stand by until you get your situation squared up there. It sounds like you got a, I don't know, mic problem, transmit problem or something. I'm not hearing anything. You're 45 over here in Albany. And all of a sudden, the snap of the fingers and you was gone. Right in the middle of your, when you were speaking. So I don't know if you can hear me or not, but we're going to stand by. Unless somebody else is in there. This is Steve in Albany, KA2, EXE.
WA2JID, back with 100 watts, kicked the GFI. This is WA2JID.
Yeah, but I missed it there. You were real strong, 25 over, and then all of a sudden you disappeared, over.
Yeah, okay. Well, for some reason, this is the second time I've tripped my GFI. I'm running 100 watts now. I put the amplifier on bypass, so hopefully you're hearing me. But, yeah, I lost all the power. The lights and everything went off. This is the second time it's happened tonight, so must be, for some reason, I'm tripping the GFI.
Okay, yeah, I don't know if you only need them in the bathroom, I guess, if you drop the hair dryer in the toilet or something, or in the bathtub. But for those things are pretty much a pain in the neck, because you can't rely on them. Any timers or anything, the things go off as soon as it gets humid, and, they're sort of a pain in the neck. So I try to do without them if unless, like I said, they're in the bathroom or in a wet environment, because they are such a pain in the neck. And sometimes the grounds go bad, the connections go bad, whatever, they're tripping off the pain. But yeah, I'm still hearing you. You're 5'9". You come down from 25 over to about a 5'9", maybe plus 10 over.
Yeah, that's just about what you are, about 5'9". It certainly can read you okay, so hopefully you read me okay. Well, anyway, I run 100 watts here, and I'm going to go up and hit the sack here pretty soon. It's almost 11. But I like to hang out here until fairly late at night. And I could cut the power back, I suppose. But I don't know why it all of a sudden started doing this. But this is the second time this evening that I hit that GFI. And I agree with you. I don't think I need it out here. But anyway, it's wired in, and unless I keep having problems with it, I think I'll just get rid of it. Anyway, name here again is Bernie. The call is Whiskey Alpha 2, Japan, India, Denmark, Juliet, India, Delta, WA2, JID. And I didn't get your call there, so give me that, and I'm going to say 737. So back to you, WA2 JID here.
Okay, very good. WA2JID, this is Kilowatt, Alpha, 2, Echo, X-Ray, Bravo, KA2, EX Bravo, the electric X-ray beam, KA2 KA2EXP, the electric X-ray beam out of Albany, New York. So, yeah, we're copying it good. And, Roger, you thinking about going to bed? It's coming up on 11 o'clock. It certainly is. We're just sitting here listening, surfing the net, and glad to hear you in there and be able to give you a report and appreciate your report also. Over.
Okay, what's the handle there? The handle here is Bernie, Bravo Echo Romeo November Indy Echo Bernie. And again, we're in Boston, New York, 10 miles west of Binghamton. What's the name there?
Yeah, okay, yeah, the name here is Steven. Steve for short. You can call me Steve. I've been called worse. But yeah, Steve is fine. And short for Steven with that, T-E-P-H-E-N. But we'll just settle for Steve. That's short and sweet. And we're in Albany County, Fox November 3-2, in the town of Guilderland. So, and by the way, the age here is 67.